Hello!
And welcome to Books and Crannies,
A book lovers podcast.
I'm Danielle.
I'm freaking Sarah.
Yeah, you are. And y'all, today we are freaking talking about A Court of Frost and Starlight.
Yeah, the entire book.
Fast.
I'm excited.
The entire back. The entire book back.
It sounded like you said packet to me. the entire packet.
Yeah, we printed it offline. No, we have the books. I lied.
Look.
Sorry, I lied to you.
Look at it. YouTube, look.
Witness. Yeah, we read the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because it's only like 220-something pages. 229?
229, yeah.
And it's a fast read.
Very fast read.
Yeah. This very much feels like just a stopgap in between books.
Absolutely.
It's just like it's a pit stop.
It's like a cute little story.
Yeah, I liked it. I enjoyed myself.
Me
but
too.
It's very much like I'm still writing Silver Flame and need to publish.
Yeah.
Have this.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. Yeah. And it's different than all the other ones because it's like every chapter is a different perspective.
Yeah. I don't like how it jumped between, like, Feyre's chapters were, like, in her perspective, but then the other chapters were being narrated.
Yeah. What's that about?
Yeah, that kind of bothered me.
Yeah. Why couldn't you have made it first person there, too?
Yeah.
Relax.
Come on.
I mean, it's fine, I guess.
I guess.
It was still good.
I would love to hear the inside of Cassian's brain, though.
Asriel?
Did Asriel even have chapters?
I don't think he did.
I don't think he did. I think it was only Cassian.
Maybe. I don't remember.
Why don't we get a peek inside of Asriel's brain?
I want to know Asriel.
I know.
He better have a book one day.
I mean...
He better.
I feel like if she makes a Elaine book, he'll be a big part of it.
That's probably true. I wonder what's going
maybe not. I don't know.
Go down with those two.
I know.
And Lucian? It's a love triangle.
I know. I feel like... Well, we'll get into this later, probably. Okay. I'm just going to say it. I feel like Elaine, like, especially in this book... Maybe she's, like, denied the mating bond. They talked about that being a thing that women could do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I feel like that might be a thing.
Yeah.
I don't remember if something happens in Silver Flames or...
I don't remember either. And I don't know if it's something that formally, like, needs to be said or if it's just, like, she's decided and it's not a thing.
I don't know.
I mean, she is like, you don't know me from freaking Jack. Mm-hmm. Get out of here.
She is sassy to him.
She is. And I'm like, poor Lulu.
I know.
He didn't ask for this.
L-Dog.
Anyway, we should probably talk about the book.
I guess.
So it starts with a favorite chapter.
Grab a snack and a drink?
Oh, yeah,
Question
shoot.
Mark?
Yeah, get them. And a blankie.
Yeah.
Get cozy.
Snuggle up or do your dishes.
Clean your kitchen. Again, your sign. Or vacuum. Well, that's kind of loud. You might not hear all of our hilarious jokes.
Yeah, you better not do that.
Don't vacuum.
Vacuuming not allowed. Any
hoodle. Hey. So we're starting with Feyre.
Yeah.
And she wakes up in her bed, and Rhys isn't there.
Mm-hmm.
And she, in this chapter, is talking about how busy as heck they've been.
Yeah.
Because, we just ended a war.
Yeah, they're rebuilding the city.
They're rebuilding. Feyre's been, like, volunteering to help and doing a bunch of stuff with a bunch of different organizations. Mm-hmm. And really, like, getting her hands dirty in the city with the people. Her people.
Yeah.
And doing a lot of paperwork. Mm-hmm. She's doing, like, the political crap.
Yeah, that no one wants to do.
Yeah. And she's looking around their house like, man, it's cluttered. There's so much crap in here. I never see Rhys. Mm-hmm. Like, this is just, it's been a lot.
Yeah.
And Rhys is gone. He's checking on the allies or doing something.
I think he's in the
Illyrian
camp with Cassian.
Yeah. I think she mentions that a lot of his time has been spent, like, checking in on all of the other courts to be like, we still cool? Or do you have any weird plans to fuck with the humans? Or what's going on?
Yeah.
So he's got his own stuff going on. But we learned that winter solstice is coming soon. Mm-hmm. And the way it's celebrated in the Night Court, like, everyone gets a bunch of presents. And it's real informal, and they just kind of spend time together.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, hot dang. I don't have presents.
I know.
What am I going to do?
I know.
What the heck?
She also notes that it's been a whole year. It's only been a year since Rhys, like, called in his bargain initially.
So much
happened. Which is wild.
I know. I'm like, wars can happen for years. Years.
Yeah.
And
this was
Amryn,
like 6 months.
I know. Amryn just came in and was like, no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
You're done.
You're done.
We also learned that both Nesta and Lucian have moved out of the townhouse.
Yeah.
So Nesta's in some seedy part of town, off on her own, They haven't really heard from her. Lucian got his own little place by the Cedra.
Got his own place, but is gone most of the time, it seems like.
Yeah, he's off doing Lucian stuff.
Yeah.
Who knows what that is?
Well.
You never know. We will, maybe. But then it moves on to Rhys. Mm-hmm. And he sure is. With Cass. Berating Devlin.
Yeah.
Again.
Which is deserved.
Yeah.
It seems like.
Yeah, they're talking about training the females.
Yeah.
Because that's still an ongoing argument.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Devlin in this, he's like, well, they have to prepare for the solstice. So, like,
they're busy.
Train. He's like, the dudes can help. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
You need to freaking train them, you tits.
Yes.
It's still just an ongoing battle. It's annoying.
Yeah, I have a little quote that I want to read. Rhys is, like, talking about the camp and the issues that they're having with getting them to train women.
Yeah.
And so this is on page 11.
Hey! In deep.
So it had been, as long as I'd known this place, for my mother's people. The world had been reborn during the war months before, the wall blasted to nothingness, and yet some things did not alter. Especially here, where change was slower than the melting glaciers scattered amongst these mountains. Tradition going back thousands of years, left mostly unchallenged. Until now, until us.
Yes.
I'm like, yes. Be the freaking change.
You want to see.
Come on.
Yeah, they're like good males who are out for equity and not owning women.
Yeah. Women are not property
or
pets.
Guys.
Come on.
So they'll keep fighting Devlin. They'll keep dealing with his stupid antics to make sure it happens. Cass is like real gung-ho about this for personal reasons.
Yeah.
But Rhys in this chapter, he's real pent up. Mm-hmm. He's like antsy. He's like, man, I really need to get a quickie in with Feyre.
I really need a good bang.
I get up in her. And he's just like thinking about her a lot and trying to reel it in because, you know, he's around a bunch of Valyrians. He probably shouldn't be getting frisky. But he's also like reflecting on the war and everything that happened and is very much still in disbelief that like he has Feyre and that they made it out. And, like this is reality now, like a time of peace.
Yeah.
And there's a quote that I have too. It's on page 20 and 21.
Beautiful.
Rhys is saying that he gets this feeling that it's all some sort of joke, some sort of cosmic trick, and that no one can be this happy and not pay for it. And Cassian is who he's talking to, obviously. And he says, you've already paid for it, Rhys, both of you, and then some. And Cass goes on to say, you made it, we made it. You both endured enough that no one would blame you if you danced off into the sunset like Miriam and Dracon and never bothered with anything else again. But you are bothering. You're both still working to make this peace last. Peace, Rhys. We have peace and the true kind. Enjoy it. Enjoy each other. You paid the debt before it was ever a debt. I'm like, yeah, Rhys, you deserve this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quit belittling yourself.
Like, yeah. And, like, you just got to soak in the happy. You got to allow it to happen for yourself. Because I feel like it's just been a lot of uphill for him until now, you know. Yeah. Dealing with, like, his father and his whole upbringing and the Illyrians being a whore.
Yeah.
Forcibly.
Yeah. I mean, it's got to be hard after the war, too. And, like, you know, he went in with the thought that he wouldn't come back out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so now he's alive.
Right.
And it's got to be hard to just, like, take all that in.
For sure. Oh, yeah. I can't imagine coming back to life.
No.
And he very much, like, intentionally let himself become unalived.
Yeah.
Knowing what would happen when he helped Feyre rebuild the cauldron. So, yeah, that's got to be a whirlwind.
It's got to be a trip
of emotions.
Yeah.
He also, in his pent-up energy, remembers, like, having taken Feyre mid-flight.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Yeah. I'm like, logistically? Like, what's that about?
Yeah.
How are you going about that?
Not only that, but I'm terrified of heights. Like, just no thanks.
Not trying to be exposed.
A hard pass.
Hard pass. Don't want to fall to the ground while naked.
I mean, at least you'd die happy.
Yeah, I guess. in the best position. Which one?
Yeah, that's my other question.
Yeah, how?
Which position were they in here?
How are we doing this? Maybe we don't need to talk about it. I have some ideas.
Same.
Yeah, that was just dropped in there to make me laugh. But they also find out that there's like some dissension among the Illyrians.
Yeah.
Just
they're talking of rebelling.
Yeah.
Seems like
they're all grumpy after the war. And there's just gossip and rumors afoot.
Yeah.
I don't think Devlon's camp's a part of it. Like, as much of a crabby asshole Devlon is, like, he still upholds his respect for Rhys.
I mean, to a point.
Yeah.
I feel like if he really respected Rhys, there wouldn't be, like, an argument with the training women and...
I guess maybe not so much respect as much as, like, the order of things.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, it's just, he is my High Lord. There isn't a question.
Yeah.
Even though, wouldn't
but
that
even
make you
that,
obey?
Yeah.
I know. He's just stuck in his ways, and maybe
Yeah.
part of that is respecting or, at least sticking to the High Lord side.
Yeah.
Rhys tells Cass he does want him home for the solstice coming up.
Yeah, and I think he says, like, I want you home 3 days before it or something. Like,
yeah.
Take a break,
yeah,
buddy.
You need to take a break. Cass seems to be working like crazy.
He's been nonstop, yeah.
I mean, he is the, like, commander, and, there's a lot of... The Illyrians played a huge role in the war, so I'm sure there's a lot of aftermath.
Yeah.
As far as, like, talking to people who lost loved ones or just picking up after everything and make sure they're okay. He wants him home. And the solstice is also Feyre's 21st birthday. Mm-hmm. And Rhys is, 500.
Yeah. Yeah, can we talk about that? Can we talk about that a little bit?
Is that a little weird? What's that about?
Talk about an age gap.
It's substantial.
Isn't that, like, kind of icky?
Right? I mean, Rhys has lived a lot of life.
Yeah.
Lots.
Yeah.
More than we could ever even try to live.
Yeah.
And Feyre's barely 21.
Yeah. I mean, I guess at least she's an adult. She's not like 16.
It's true.
Dating a 500-year-old man. Married to a 500-year-old man.
Mated. Yeah, I guess, I don't know. It is what it is.
At least he doesn't look 500.
True.
I mean.
His mortal beauty is there.
Yeah.
That would be extra creepy. I don't think Feyre would have made it this far if Rhys looked 500 years old.
Maybe that's what she's into. You don't know.
Wrinkly. I don't even know. How do you, at 500?
I feel like it goes beyond wrinkles
you would be
at that point. Dust with a conscience.
Yeah. Just a cloud like Amryn, but people dust.
Yeah.
I don't know.
People dust.
But Cass did mention, like, his parents had a similar situation. Like, his mom was only, like, 18 or something and was mated with the dad.
It's true.
Oh, I guess that's just normal.
I
guess. Whatever. But then we scoot on over to good old Cass.
We sure do.
And he's angry.
He is grumpy in the beginning of this book.
Yeah.
I mean, kind of the whole book, really.
Yeah, he's having a time.
Yeah.
He, I think, as we'll come to find, is dealing with crap with Nesta and also the Illyrians. And he's just got a lot going on.
Yeah. But he's grumpy, so he takes a little flight.
He goes on a flight.
Yeah. Where does he go?
Well, in his flight, he passes Ramil, which is like the sacred mountain that the freaking Blood Right.
The Blood Right.
Blood Right. Great Rat is the other one.
Yeah, you're
it's
right.
Calamai.
Yeah.
The banging sesh.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Blood Right is what every Illyrian goes through. They have to, like, they don't get magic. They don't get wings.
Yeah.
They
have
like
to tie their wings up.
Yeah. And it's like a battle it's like Hunger Games. Mm-hmm. They just throw them into the wilderness and they have to try to make it to the top of Ramil.
Yeah.
And touch a stone. That's fancy.
Yeah. And they just have to, like, survive, really.
Yeah.
If they don't, because isn't it, like, rare for people to actually make it to the top?
Yeah. Yeah, Cassian's thinking about how he, Azriel, and Rhys reached it together.
Yeah.
However many years ago. And, like, only a dozen or something have done it since then.
Yeah.
It's, like, rare for them to get there. But I feel like it is just a game of survival. Or making it to the mountain. I don't know. But nonetheless, he passes that. And he's like, wow.
Wow.
We did that.
Look at us.
Yeah. We're cool. Then where does he go, Sarah?
He goes back to the town, doesn't he? Where his mother was killed.
Yeah.
Or unalived.
Yep. His old stomping grounds. Yeah. Where he, was
grew
born.
Up.
Yeah.
Or was born, really.
Yeah.
He was thrown out pretty early.
He was taken by the Illyrian camp.
Or something.
Yeah, whatever. He didn't stay there long, nonetheless. And that is where his mom died. He doesn't know if they buried her or not, but he can assume, either way, that's kind of his memorial for her, is that little town.
Mm-hmm.
And it sort of, explains why he's so passionate about ensuring that the female Illyrians are being trained and respected, because he's like, my mom didn't get any of that. She was tossed aside like trash.
Yeah. And he said, they threw her out days after she gave birth to him. Yeah. Into the snow. And
with him. Yeah. It was bad. It's really sad. Treated her terribly. I know. Yeah. So he's sort of dealing with it, and he goes there anytime he's extra angry and needs time. He also,
apparently burned the whole place to the ground.
Yeah, in his anger.
Yeah. I don't blame him. I probably would have done the same thing.
He definitely butchered the entire camp.
Yeah.
Because he's like, you murdered my mom. So, revenge. Excuse me.
My goodness.
But then it's back to Feyre.
Yeah.
Yeah? Is there more about Cass?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, he just talks about his mom some more.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Sick.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. It goes back to Feyre, and she's, going out shopping. She heads to the Rainbow.
Mm-hmm.
And is, taking in the rubble that's still there. Mm-hmm. Everything that has been rebuilt.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry. Oh, go ahead.
Is this when she sees the woman, the Fae, that she came across fighting the group of people and they got attacked?
Racina. She is a fairy. She's not a high fae.
Yeah.
She's
green.
Yeah, she looks like a fairy.
Yeah.
And she talks to Racina a bit. Racina approaches her, and talks about how there's this abandoned art studio that's been boarded up. Mm-hmm. And Racina tells them that those people survived and they're living on a different estate. And essentially is it's vacant and up for sale if you're interested. I've heard about you liking to paint. There's word around town or something. Yeah. And Feyre's no. Gets awkward.
I don't paint.
I don't do anything. It's fine. She also, while going around town, is talking about her role as High Lady, and she's window shopping and kind of glad that nobody recognizes her right away. Yeah. But she does say that she has been with Rhys doing hosting people to come talk to them, and she's been playing a part in that and sort of getting her footing as a High Lady, and kind of going off his cues and stuff.
Yeah.
But there was.
While you look for that, she also mentions that Rhys has been donating to charities. That the charities, everything from aiding the poor, sick, and elderly to grants for young mothers to start their own businesses. Which I thought was nice.
Yeah, and he let her, add a list of anything that she wanted to allocate money to, and I think she added some orcs.
Yeah, the only 2 items...
And the humans, maybe.
...that she added were societies that I'd heard about through my own volunteering, donations to the humans displaced by the war, as well as Illyrian war widows and their families.
Yeah. So that's cool. They have a whole buttload of cash.
I freaking love them.
I do too. They just have hordes of money. Yeah. She's also starting to see their assets and is good.
She's oh my god. But she's still so frugal.
Yeah. She just can't get over the idea of spending money unnecessarily.
Yeah. It feels wrong to her.
Yeah.
I think I wonder if a part of that too is feeling guilty
that she's
got such a good life, and there's people that were unalived in the war,
right?
And their families are now screwed.
That and she came from poverty for a minute, so she knows what that's like.
Most definitely.
But anyway, after this like interaction with Racina, as Feyre goes to walk away, Racina says, "We remember it, you know," and Feyre's like, "What?" And she's like, "That you came for us that day." Racina met her stare at last, her ochre eyes bright, as she said, "We keep away to let you have your privacy, but don't think for one moment that there isn't a single one of us who doesn't know and remember, who isn't grateful that you came here and fought for us." She did make a lasting impression on the people. Absolutely, it does seem like she's coming into her role as High Lady, like being well accepted, and she's done well by the people.
Yeah.
So that was sweet.
Yeah.
And she met Racina.
Yeah.
And now we know there's a vacant art studio.
Oh, snap.
What the heck?
Racina also invites her to come to her studio and paint. There's apparently she like gets a group of people together.
And they just paint together.
They paint. And so she invites her.
And Feyre's like, don't know about all that.
Feyre asks her, what sort of things do you paint? And her answer is, the things that need telling. Yeah. So like you just come get shit off your chest.
Yeah. Paint whatever you gotta paint.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Feyre feels awkward as hell about all this. She's like, I'm uncomfortable.
I'm gonna go now.
I haven't really even painted in a while, and I have a lot of pent-up crap that I've wanted to paint. Like, all throughout the war and all of the last couple books, she's just, like, stopped and been like, the painting name is this, you know? Like, she's gathered a lot of images that she'd like to paint.
Yeah.
But it also comes with a lot of heavy emotions and otherwise. But then Moore finds her. And they start walking together.
They do.
And she starts helping Feyre shop. And there's like a conversation they have about the solstice and Moore bringing someone. And it's clear that Feyre's like alluding to her bringing a woman. And Moore's still very much not ready to come out. She's like, nope. And also drops that they're going somewhere tonight.
Yeah, they gotta go to the friggin' Hewn City.
Yeah, they gotta go and
I don't want to go back there.
I know. Neither does Moore.
No.
She's heard that Eris is gonna be there tonight, though. Yeah. Apparently, they do this every year to, like, you know, happy solstice.
Yeah. Okay, bye.
Yeah, no, we don't actually want to be here.
Yeah.
But she knows that Eris is gonna be there, and she wants to see, like, how buddy he and her father have gotten at this point.
I'm curious, too.
I know. What happens next?
Ay.
And then we get to Feyre again. It's another Feyre chapter.
Yeah.
And she gets home.
And she, like, sits down to read, right? And Rhys comes in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he wants her.
He does.
But she's also like, you haven't eaten all freaking day.
You need to eat.
Yeah.
I'm gonna force you. I'll be right back. She goes.
Gets him like the whole kitchen.
Yeah. Rhys is like, you didn't have to bring the whole kitchen.
Yeah.
If I knew you were gonna bring that much, I would have just come down.
She's like, shut up and eat, you Illyrian baby. And he does. He eats.
Yeah.
And then they, like, you know, talk about getting busy. Oh, they mentioned that while she's fussing over Rhys, she's like, and he's complaining about her fussing. She's like, yeah, well, you were a bigger fusser when I had my first cycle. And apparently, like, Fae cycles are what, twice a year?
Yeah. I'm gonna read about it a little bit. They're biannual. I'm not going to read about it. It's long.
It's essentially, she was just talking about how horrendous it was. Like, it was the most pain she'd ever been in.
Yeah, and she says that, like, the healer can't do anything for it besides knock her unconscious.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only remedy.
Yeah. That sounds awful.
Terrible.
Like,
but only twice a year?
Yeah, but I don't know if I'm trying to be, you know, bedridden for however long it lasts.
I guess.
In agony.
I guess.
With nothing to help. And you gotta imagine Fae agony versus, like, mortal.
Sound
like Mordor. I don't know if we can handle it, Sarah.
I guess you're right.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, that happens. And Rhys, they talk a little bit about Lucian, too. And Feyre wonders, like, if he's going to come to Solstice. Mm-hmm. And Rhys talks about how he hasn't yet forgiven Lucian for how he treated her after Under the Mountain.
Yeah. Which, I get it, I guess. But, like, get over it.
Yeah.
At this point,
I know he's
done so much for them.
He's redeemed himself.
He has. In my eyes,
I'm not that mad at Lucian.
I'm not either.
Like, I know it was shitty of him to just, like, you know, blindly follow Tamlin and let him treat her that way. And, like, what would Tamlin have done had Lucian done more?
Right.
At the same time.
Right.
And he is a subject of Tamlin, or was. So,
yeah.
like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
I forgive Lucian.
Me too. Rhys also won't forgive Nesta, though.
I mean...
Yeah. And it's, like, down to she let you, you know, hunt and do all of it by yourself. Like, he's going back.
He's going way back, yeah. Which, get over it. Again, like, here's my thing. Nesta's being shitty right now. Mm-hmm. So focus on that.
Yeah.
Don't, like, bring up the past. You know what I mean? I feel like we're all past that at this point.
And also... I mean, you know, Nesta, we are finding, has been, like, avoiding them and won't talk to her sisters and is just being a shithead. Like, she's drinking and just living her own life.
Yeah, she's being a brat.
Yeah, but also, can you blame her?
No. And I just want to say one more thing about him continually bringing up the whole, like, you let her hunt and she didn't know how to read and blah, blah, blah. She's apologized for that.
Yeah.
So get over it.
Yeah. And Feyre's fine.
She's fine.
She made it out okay.
forgave her.
Yeah. It's not your, like, grudge to hold.
And honestly, if Feyre hadn't gone through all of that, I don't think she would be the person that she is now.
No, definitely not. She needed that to grow.
Get over it, Rhys.
Strong.
This is the one thing that I'm like, you're being an idiot.
Yeah, it's not a good look for you, Rhys. You just need to let it bygones be
yes.
Be
But yes, going back to what Nesta's doing now, she has every right.
Yeah,
she watched her father die.
Yeah.
She killed someone.
Yeah.
She unalived someone. Like, she's been through the ringer.
Yeah.
She got her mortality stripped away from her, not by her own choice.
She saw battle firsthand. She
is traumatizing.
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
I mean, how do you even begin to deal with that?
She sliced off the King of Hybern's head.
Straight up.
I would not be okay.
No. Absolutely not. Like, held it like a trophy?
Yeah.
Hefty no, thanks.
No.
Yeah, she's going through it. I don't blame her at all.
I don't either.
For her behavior.
I don't either.
I know that, you know, I feel like in times of need, your community wants to, like, wrap you up and be there for you, but sometimes that's the last thing you want.
Needs.
Yeah.
You know, people are different and grieve differently.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there's part of me that is like, God, just get over it. Nesta, quit being such a brat. But then I'm like, when I look deeper at it, I'm like, no, it's justified.
Yeah, absolutely.
And everyone deals with things their own way. Like, let her deal with it how she needs to deal with it.
Yes. Yeah, she needs time. I mean, I think all of them do. And they're all sort of healing in their own way.
Yeah.
Hers just happens to be very reclusive. And, you know,
whatever.
And that's okay. It's
It's
fine. Not everyone has to go out and volunteer and rebuild the city, Feyre.
Yeah, if she wants to go to these dive bars and get drunk and bring home a new dude every night, so what?
Great. Let her live her life.
What?
What can you do? She can't change until she wants to change.
Yeah.
God. Anyway, that was a really side tangent.
No, it's good.
It is good.
It's good conversation.
Yep. But, they, like, want to start getting busy. Rhys and Feyre, and he asks her a thought for a thought, as they used to do. Mm-hmm. And Feyre tells him about how she was invited to paint, but she definitely isn't, like, ready to face whatever's going to come up when she does start painting.
Yeah.
And Rhys's thought was that he just can't believe he gets to have this with Feyre.
Yeah.
And she's like, I love you too.
Yeah. And Feyre says, sorry, I just want to add to the whole, her thought. She says that she feels selfish taking the time to paint right now when there's so much that needs to be done.
Yeah.
And Rhys is like, bitch, if you want to paint, then paint.
Just do it. Well, she also, before this, had talked about, like, all of her volunteering.
Yeah.
So many people started volunteering that the people were like, hi, lady, you need to get the hell out of here. Like, you've done enough.
Well, yeah, and they were telling her, like, go enjoy the solstice.
Yeah, please stop.
We don't need you here.
We have way more hands than we know what to do with.
Yeah.
And stop it.
Yeah.
Like, we see you and respect you. You don't have to keep doing this.
Yeah.
Like, we have enough.
Yeah.
Hands on deck.
So paint.
Yeah, jeez. But as they start getting down and dirty, Moore is like, guys.
She knocks on the door and Reese is like, ugh.
He's been so freaking pent up. He's like, I can't wait. And Moore's like, dude, it takes you like 3 hours to get ready. You need to freaking get on it. We leave in 30 minutes. He's like, oh. So they have to stop that whole ordeal. And then we go to Morgan.
Hang on 1 second.
Sorry.
You're okay. I just wanted to read this little tiny quote from Reese to Feyre on page 54. He tells her, I love you more than life, more than my territory, more than my crown.
Oh, so swoon. Yeah. Always swooning at good old Reese.
He's a sweetie pie.
Somebody calls him Reese in this book, and I was like, I love it. But then we go to Moore. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. I don't know why my throat's so scratchy.
Take a sip.
But I should. But they go to the Human City.
They do.
And she's like struggling to deal with the pairing of her father and Eris.
Yeah, which I don't blame her.
Not at all.
No.
She starts remembering like her past with Eris and what went down.
Yeah.
I have a bit of a quote.
Okay.
It's on page 60-61. It's when Eris comes and like finds Moore after her family had nailed her to the freaking ground.
Yeah.
Through her
this
stomach.
Whole flashback.
Yeah, it's terrible. I know. But someone behind him being Eris, says, we can't just leave her, because he's about to just walk away. Mm-hmm. And he's like, we can and we will. She chose to sully herself. Her family chose to deal with her like garbage. I have already told them my decision in this matter. A long pause, crueler than the rest. And I am not in the habit of fucking Illyrian leftovers. She couldn't stop it then, the tears that slid out, hot and burning. Alone. They would leave her alone here. Her friends did not know where she had gone. She barely knew where she was. But the dissenting voice cut in again. Move out! There was no dissension after that, and when their steps faded away, they vanished, the silence returned. The sun and the wind and the leaves, the blood and the iron and the soil beneath her nails. The pain. I was like, poor Moore, man. It's like picking out a scab.
Yeah.
To see him and her father.
Yeah. Yeah, I imagine that, like, seeing either one of them even separately is horrible for her.
Yeah.
But then to see them together.
And, like, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Ouch.
I know. It's not good.
It's a bad look.
And so while Feyre and Reese are talking to Karen Eris, she just, like, can't get words out. Yeah. And keeps, like, internally calling herself a coward. Mm-hmm. And it's like, Moore... It's not your fault.
Heart-wrenching.
I know. She's having the hardest time. But she does end up tuning back in when Reese is telling Eris that his dad can't go into the human lands. Mm-hmm. And Eris alludes to some info. He's like, listen, dog. If you're worried about crossover into human lands, you should go and talk to frickin' Tam Tam.
Yep, because Tamlin's territory is the one that borders the human lands.
Yep.
And apparently he's not doing anything to, like...
Yeah.
Do anything. Protect his borders.
Right.
Anything.
He's not being a High Lord or guard at all to the mortal realm.
Which, it's not surprising.
No.
Honestly.
No. He's
not. He's throwing a Tammy tantrum.
He sure is. A big old one, we come to find.
Mm-hmm.
But then we... Oh, go ahead.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do we know who it was that was behind Eris saying, well, we can't just leave her here?
No.
I think it might have been Lucian.
Interesting.
That's just a theory. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it says.
It doesn't, for sure, in this book. I just thought maybe we had learned before.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
It's never been explicitly said who he was with. I just assumed it was like guards or something, but it very well could have been.
I wonder if it was Lucian, because then I know that Eris said, like, he made sure that Lucian got to the Spring Court and, like, did what he could to protect Lucian.
Yeah.
When the other brothers were trying to kill him.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just...
I mean, that's maybe... Perhaps.
But also, why would Lucian have been there? after.
I mean, maybe, I don't know. Maybe they're patrolling together or something.
I don't
know if this was before or after Lucian's departure either.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who knows?
Who freaking knows?
But it could be. And he seems to have a relatively good conscience, so I would not be surprised if he was like, we can't just... Although then he stops fighting. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Anyhow. Then we go to Rhys again.
Yep.
They're gone from the hewn city. And he's talking to Azriel.
Yes. They're talking about the Illyrians, right?
Yeah, Az brought him a roster of clans that might have some goss going on, some dissension.
Yeah.
He's like, there's a lot more than we thought.
There's more discontent than they originally thought there was.
Yeah, and Az is like, what do we do about this? And they decide not to tell Cass right away because they want him to enjoy his solstice. Yeah. And he's like, well, I can't disband the Illyrians. Yeah. Like, we need to find a solution, but it can't be that because we might need them again. Yeah. You know, to fight for us.
Right.
And it is what it is. We'll have to find them. They also talk a little bit about the human queens.
Which we still haven't heard anything from them.
We still haven't heard anything from them, and they're still, like, in their shared fortress or whatever.
Yeah, they still haven't returned to their...
kingdoms.
Territories or whatever.
And Jurian and Vasa are with them. Vasa's still on vacation from her vacation curse. For the war. Yeah, from her curse, her death god overseer. Yeah. Yeah, they're still going to town. And they're like buds. And Az talks about how, like, you know, Jurian's doing a really good job of sort of keeping shit together. Yeah. And he's like, and Vasa and him tend to have similar opinions.
Oh, and they're all with Grayson, too.
Yeah.
I forgot about him.
The whole crew's together. Freaking Grayson.
I know.
But he's like, you know, Jurian is doing a pretty good job. Vasa and him tend to have similar opinions about things, but the way that they rule is much different. So, like, there's a little bit of issue there. And he wants to send Lucian to go talk to him. Yep. But where's Lucy?
Well, he's been in friggin' Spring Court.
Yeah.
Talking to Tammy.
For the solstice. He went to go to Spring Court to be with Tamlin for the solstice.
Yep. Why would anyone want to be with him?
I know.
Let's be real.
Pity.
Yeah.
Honestly. I'm sure Lucian still feels bad.
I'm sure he's feels guilty almost.
That he made it out of his court, and also that there's such people are like relating the downfall of Spring Court to Lucian also. Like, Lucian betrayed the court. Yeah. Like, there's the whole...
It wasn't just Feyre. Lucian was there too.
Yeah. Well, he left with Feyre.
He did.
And there was a whole rumor that they were getting hot for each other. Because she kept touching him all the time.
Yep. It's true.
And Rhys plans to pay Tamlin a visit.
Sorry, say that again?
Rhys plans to pay Tamlin a visit.
Yeah.
And also mentions that Bryaxis is still out on the loose.
Yep. No one's found Bryaxis.
No one. And Az is like, do you want me to hunt him? And Rhys is like,
let it enjoy its solstice.
Yeah. The fear cloud is just out there somewhere. Poor forest creatures or otherwise.
I mean, they're fine.
They're fine. And then we go to Cass again. And he... What?
I just saw a quote about Bryaxis that made me giggle. Az says, not a whisper, or a scream for that matter.
No wild screeching to be heard. Who knows? But yeah, we're back to Cass. And he is at the war camp, like, prepping for this huge storm.
Big ol' snowstorm.
Big ol' snowstorm that's coming in.
Snowstorm. Ow.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's my fault.
I keep injuring you.
It's my own fault.
All right.
That time.
Every other time, though. Yeah, they're prepping for a big old storm that's supposed to blow in during solstice. And the mountains get hit heavy.
Dump feet of snow on them. Yeah.
And so he goes to a little shop.
He goes to a shop who used to be owned by someone he knew.
Proteus.
Proteus? Proteus.
Proteus. I don't know why that made me think of potatoes, but...
Alright, his new name is officially Potato.
Boil and mash him, stick him in a stew.
He goes to Potato's shop.
He sure does.
But there's no potato there.
There's no potato. He's been gone. He's
be
gone,
dead.
gone. Yeah. And
he be gone.
he be gone. And his daughter, Emery, Potato's daughter, is there instead.
Potato Junior.
Yeah. She's like a little finger potato, and he's a russet.
He's a good baker potato.
Exactly. And she's like, listen, please don't boil mash me or stick me in a stew. But I am the new shop owner.
Yeah.
And she just sort of stuck claim to it, I'm pretty sure. She has brothers. And, like, naturally, they would have been the ones to take over. Because, you know, men are superior.
I think it was mentioned, like, her uncles, too. So, like,
there's...
Potato's brothers. Spud
Sweet
and...
potato Spud.
Spud and Yam.
Stupid! And hilarious. But, yeah, good old Spuddy. He's not going to get it because it's freaking Potato Juniors. Cass noticed that she's been clipped.
Which is really sad.
It's terrible. She's very bold, though, and, like, doesn't take no shit.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, it's my shop. They can come tell me differently. And I remembered Emery as soon as he went into the shop because, well, she comes back.
Yeah, she is sassy. Cassian, like, compares her to Nesta a little bit.
Yeah.
He's like, man, I've seen Nesta stand like that.
Yeah. I've marked all her poses.
Yeah.
He's like, I've named so many of them. The face she gives me when she's reading smut and doesn't want me to know.
He'd seen Nesta in that particular pose, too. He called it her I will slay my enemies pose.
Yes.
And then it says, Cassian had named about 24 poses for Nesta at this point. Ranging from... I'm sorry, these are just funny.
No, I like it.
I will eat your eyes for breakfast to I don't want Cassian to know I'm reading smut.
I will eat your eyes for breakfast. I could see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cass is there for a reason. He's
Yeah. He asks her for all of the winter gear that she has.
everything.
And she's like, that's gonna cost you, buddy.
He gives her a sack of money. More than enough.
Yeah, she's like, that's too much.
And he's like, well, give it back then.
I don't want your charity.
He's like, okay, give me change.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, no. Keeps it.
No, I think she does. She totally slides him money.
Maybe she does.
They should cover it, and she says, I don't need charity. Take whatever the cost is.
I feel like she goes to the back and gets extra to, like, compensate. She gets as much as she possibly can and throws in extra stuff to make it worth it.
Maybe she did, yeah. It just says that she handed him back his pouch, so
It's
maybe
probably
there wasn't
empty.
money in it.
She took it all.
Yeah.
Well, she's throwing in a bunch of stuff, and then he's like, listen, I need you to deliver all this. And he gives her more money.
Yeah.
And she's like, what? They don't like me.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, they don't like me either. It's fine.
He's like, don't tell him it's from me. Tell him it's from Reese.
Their High Lord.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's a gift for
Yeah.
solstice. And she's like, all right, it'll be done.
Mm-hmm.
Cassian.
I know.
Gosh. So yeah, he sets up the Illyrians for the impending winter. And he asks her specifically to deliver because he knows that she knows who would be in the most
Who's
need.
in need, yeah.
Yeah. But then we freaking go back to good old Feyre.
Back to Fey.
Stop. It's
Feyre.
Yep. That's her. Back to Feyre. And she plans to take Racina up on her offer to like group paint.
Yeah.
And then changes her mind.
Yeah, she goes, and then she sees a bunch of people, and she's like, ah, shit, nope.
Yep, that's too much.
I'm gonna go in this empty building
she
instead.
sneaks on into the abandoned studio and
She
starts
does.
painting.
She does.
She starts painting.
Yep.
And she paints what she saw in the Ouroboros.
Yeah. which is...
I have a quote, I have a quote, I have a quote.
I really liked your song.
Thank you. It's on page 86.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, the tower bells of Valara sang 12 before I stopped, before I lowered my brush and stared at what I'd created. Stared at what gazed back. Me. Or how I'd been in the Ouroboros, the beast of scale and claw and darkness, rage and joy and cold, all of me, what lurked beneath my skin. I had not run from it, and I did not run from it now. Yes, the first stitch to close a wound. That's how it felt. So she's like, pain to heal. She's getting those dark demons out of her and putting them on a canvas.
I love it for her.
Me too. Yas, Farah. Then we go to Reese.
Yeah, we do.
What's he doing?
And he is in Spring Court.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a little wild.
Well, he starts approaching. He's like, God damn.
This place is in shambles.
It's neglected. He's like, it's overrun. There's no roses.
I said there's no blooms. Like, nothing
There's nothing there.
Just nothing.
And he's like throwing out his magic and can't really feel much of like life energy. Mm-hmm. And he's like, what the hell's going on?
Yep.
And goes and knocks on the door.
Surprisingly, Tamlin answers.
Yeah.
I was kind of shocked.
Yeah, I'm like, I know, you know very well that Tamlin knew he was there.
Yeah.
And so he comes to the door. And he looks rough. Mm-hmm. He's bent out of shape. He's haggard.
Haggard.
He is
haggard.
Angry. His hair's overgrown. He needs a shave, clean clothes.
Reese says that his eyes are like haunted.
Yeah.
You just see in his eyes that he's not. He's not doing well.
Tammy's not okay. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like, part of me feels bad.
Me too.
But also, I'm like, you're an asshole.
Yeah.
All of it is because of you.
I stick by what I said, that he's not redeemable. So can I really feel bad for him?
I know.
I mean, I do.
I do, but I don't.
But I don't.
But I do.
Yeah.
But I don't.
Yeah.
Anyway, Reese asks him why he's not, like, maintaining his borders.
Mm-hmm.
And Tamlin's like, I don't have the army.
I don't have an army.
The sentries. I don't have the people.
Yeah.
There's not a way for me to do that. And he's like, okay, well, I can send over people from my night court, you know? And he's like, I don't want your night court ilk.
Yeah.
And is all disgusted by that idea.
Yeah.
And so Reason gives him a piece of his mind. And I want, are you okay with another quote?
Absolutely.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pissed.
All right. This is on page 93.
Mm-hmm.
And Reese says he's talking about Feyre and all of this. He finally gets some shit off his chest about Feyre. He says, you nearly destroyed her in every way possible. Tamlin bared his teeth. I bared mine back. Temper be damned. Let some of my power rumble through the room, the house, the grounds. She survived it, though. Survived you. And you still feel the need to humiliate her, belittle her. If you meant to win her back, old friend, that wasn't the wisest route. Get out, says Tamlin. And then Reese goes on to say, you deserve everything that has befallen you. You deserve this pathetic, empty house, your ravaged lands. I don't care if you offered that kernel of life to save me. I don't care if you still love my mate. I don't care that you saved her from Hybern or 1,000 enemies before that. I hope you live the rest of your miserable life alone here. It's a far more satisfying end than slaughtering you. Yeah. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah. Harsh.
You're really digging deep, Reese dog.
Yeah.
And Tamlin is not okay.
Yeah.
Like,
kicking it down, man.
For sure.
Yeah.
Kicking the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for Tammy.
I kind of do.
Which
like,
I hate.
I know. It feels gross. It feels gross to feel any sympathy for him.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, he's lost everything.
Mm-hmm. Literally everything. He lost his best friend. He lost his whole court.
His entire court's gone.
He lost the woman he loved.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, he deserved
well,
that.
And did he really love her? I'm not convinced he ever fucking loved her. It was just like a pawn in this game.
Yeah.
Stop acting such a fool for something you didn't actually care about, Tamlin.
Yeah.
I'm still angry.
Same. But I feel bad for you.
Yeah, a little bit.
But buddy,
get your shit together.
Yeah.
You need to, like, come back from this and stop relying so much on other people to, like, control your emotions.
Well, yeah, and maybe if you, like, manned up a little bit and took accountability for your actions, people would, like, treat you better.
Yeah.
Be nicer to you.
No, he's just gonna throw a tantrum.
He's just gonna be a big old crybaby.
And over again.
Oh, wow.
I'm a
Poor
victim.
me. I'm tampon.
I know, but I kind of feel bad.
I know.
Reese also wonders where Lucian is in this, because he's supposed to be there. And Tam's like, he's hunting for our dinner. Mm-hmm. But then Reese goes, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Tamlin tells him to get out.
Yeah.
And Reese is like, well, you're not in the mood for a brawl. And he just keeps saying, get out.
Yeah.
So Reese does.
There's another quote, but I'm not going to read it. It's just saying, essentially, that Tamlin's a broken man and male. He's broken. And that Lucian likely came to the Spring Court out of pity, more than, like, to see him for Solstice.
Yeah. I have a quote I do want to read.
Okay.
On page 94. Reese is leaving. And he says, a broken male, broken from his own actions, his own choices. It was not my concern. He did not deserve my pity. But as I winnowed away, the dark wind ripping around me, a strange sort of hollowness took root in my stomach. Tamlin didn't have shields around the house, none to prevent anyone from winnowing in to guard against enemies appearing in his bedroom and slitting his throat. It was almost as if he was waiting for someone to do it.
Yeah, that was the quote. It's good that you read it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's given up.
So he's in a rough spot.
He's just tapping out.
And Reese just, like...
berated him.
Yeah. Ow.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah.
Poor Tam.
I know.
But also, get your shit together, Tamlin.
Yeah.
But Reese gets back and, like, feels bad about everything that went down. And Feyre, like, validates him. Mm-hmm. She's like, did you go there to check on his borders, or did you go there to say all those things? And he's like, both. Mm-hmm. And she's like, that's fair. Like, I mean, valid. It is what it is. You can feel bad about it, but, like, it's okay. Mm-hmm. And then Reese goes shopping. He needs to get some gifts.
Yep.
And all he gets is just, like, a hoard of jewels for Amren. He goes to a jeweler, and he's like, Feyre's not going to want any of this. But she pulls out stuff that she selected specifically for Amren. And he's like, I'll take it all. I guess she saved us or something. But then we're back to Feyre again.
Neve is the jewelry maker. I feel like because they mentioned her name, she's going to be important at some point.
Maybe. Yeah, Neve's the one who hooks him up for Amren's freaking gold mine.
Yep.
But then, Feyre, it's her now.
Yep.
Everyone starts showing up to the townhouse for Solstice, and I very much love all of this. Like, Cass comes in with a bunch of just, like, pine trees. I imagine...
There's, like, literally just a pile of pine tree branches.
Yeah.
Needles,
and
I don't know.
She's like, what the damn hell?
She's like, what is this?
Yeah.
He's like, decoration.
It's gonna be fun.
Is this when they get drunk?
Yeah.
And decorate?
Oh, yeah. They start decorating, but they get trashed at the same time. And so when Ash shows up, he's like, what the fuck?
He's like fixing all of their mistakes.
Hasn't even taken his jacket off. He's like, God. And then Amren and Moore show up, and I think Moore says something along the lines of, like, we're Feyre and Cassian decorating, and Az is trying to fix it. But it's just, like, so cute and wholesome, this, like, reuniting of the whole group. What?
I know, it all made me giggle so much.
I know, it's so cute.
Asriel says, it's almost like you two tried to make it as ugly as possible. And drunk Feyre is like, poor Az, wine'll make you feel better.
And then he's like, all right, starts drinking with him. Amren, when she comes in, no, it's okay. It's hilarious to me, and I love them so much.
It just kind of makes me think of when we would get kind of trashy and do stupid things.
Oh, yeah.
Like...
we did a lot of dumb shit while drunk.
Yeah.
In our early 20s.
Yeah.
What a time. But it is very cute. And when Amren comes in...
This whole chapter just made me giggle so hard.
It's so good.
Amren comes in. Go ahead.
It's okay. Was there another one you wanted to talk about?
No, it's when Amren comes in, so I don't want to say anything if you were going to say it. Amren comes in and Cassian tells her she looks like an angry snowball.
Yeah, she's in like a big poofy coat.
It just made me
She's
giggle.
an angry snowball. That feels right.
I'm a mess.
I love it. She's just, I think I wrote down, she talked a little bit about Nesta being like drunk. She's just like a drunkard now. I don't remember in what context. I think they like wonder if she's coming or something. And
well, yeah, Nesta apparently like goes to Moore's apartment all the time.
Amren's, yeah.
Amren's. That's what I meant. And they just, like, hang out.
Yeah, that happens a little later, but, I mean, we can talk about it.
Maybe that's
it doesn't matter.
Why she was saying that.
I don't know. She says something about Nesta and about how she probably isn't coming, maybe, because she's, you know, gonna be drunk somewhere.
Probably, yeah.
But she does say that Varian's joining them. Mm-hmm. Her little lover.
Yeah, she's like, Varian's coming, so get over it.
Yeah. Not up for debate. And then Feyre finds Elaine in the kitchen, and she's been, like, cooking up a storm. Elaine seems to be doing much better.
Yeah.
Elaine is recovering.
She's come out of her shell a little bit.
She's not saying weird, cryptic shit all the time. Yeah. She's actually talking like a person.
Which, there's a question that, like, when the cauldron was destroyed, if it also took the sisters' power. Mm-hmm. Because...
Yeah.
There's been no sign of Nesta's power either ever since the...
Yeah. Not that they know much about Nesta at this point, but...
That's interesting.
Yeah. Elaine seems to be on the up, though. Mm-hmm. Feyre finds her, and Elaine's all shook up because she went to see Nesta that day, and Nesta was, like, angry and essentially refusing to come to call the solstice. She doesn't want anything to do with their life, like in quotations. Like, she has her own life, they have theirs. They're separate. Nesta doesn't want anything to do with it.
Yeah.
But then it's dinner time. And Az is real cute with Elaine.
I know. I really love them.
I know.
And as much as I love Lucien...
I think I like the Az combo better. Well, Az I like more than Lucien, so...
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah,
and Elaine trusts him and, like, feels comfortable with him. Mm-hmm. But she, like, comes in with a dinner plate or something to set on the table, and he's like, I'll take it, and sets it down. He's like, don't get any more food until she comes back.
Yeah, because she leaves to, like, she has flour on her apron or something, and she's like, oh, shit, I gotta change. Gotta look good. And he, yells at Cassie, and he's like, quit eating. Uh-huh. Wait for her.
Yeah.
Which, apparently, I think it's noted that it's, like, because of something to do with his mom.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no, that's 100% about Elaine.
Yeah.
There's no way.
He just loves Elaine.
He loves her.
He does.
He has to.
Obviously.
There's no way he doesn't.
I know. And as they're sitting and eating and shooting the shit, Elaine is asking Amryn about her, like, chosen form.
Yeah.
After learning that Amryn struggles with eating and peeing, this conversation. Amryn is still getting used to eating food. She's no longer consuming blood. And she's like, ugh, this is terrible.
It's like blood tastes better.
And it takes so long to eat. And, like, now I have to go to the bathroom everywhere I go. And Reese is like, do we need to build public toilets everywhere, Amryn, or what's good? And Cassian or someone is like, don't tell me she doesn't know how to pee. And they have this whole back and forth.
Yeah.
But I think Elaine asking about her form is to, like, she's wondering if she could change form. Amryn's like, if I'd known about this before, I would have been a male. And Elaine's like, interesting. Could you change it now? And Amryn's like, no, that's not a thing.
Nope. Why, Elaine? Do you want to change into a man?
I'm sure that's what it is, and definitely not a human.
Yeah, no.
She
wants a wee-wee.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't? I think I'm okay, actually.
Same.
Yeah.
Sounds uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yep.
But then, Feyre wants to go see Nesta. Mm-hmm. She takes Reese with her.
Bad idea.
And she's at a dive bar.
Yeah.
The Wolf's Den?
Yeah, they, like, go to her house, and there's no one there, so they go to the bars to look for her. Mm-hmm.
And it's Wolf's Den.
The Wolf's Den. Which Feyre says is, like, the most miserable tavern in Valaris. I'm like, great.
Yeah.
Good choice, Nessie.
Yeah. Nessie. Sounds like isn't there a Nessie somewhere?
All I can think of is Twilight. You nicknamed my daughter after the Loch Ness Monster?
Loch Ness Monster is what I actually was trying to think of. So you got me there at the end. That's hilarious. That movie's wild. But yeah, so they're in this dive bar.
Sorry, that was awkward.
That's all right. Did you have an itch?
I did.
Okay, did you scratch it?
I did.
Great.
I said I itched it,
you
but I
sure did tell me. Okay. Anyway, There was mention that there's, like, very few bad parts of town in Valaris, and Nesta just happened to pick, like, one that is.
Yeah.
And Reese is like, I've tried, man. I've tried to change it, but, like, it's a slow process, and people aren't, like, dislocating people to upgrade the block or the section or whatever would be too much. And
yeah.
so it's just kind of a slum.
Yeah.
And Feyre goes in.
I wonder what the people are like that live there.
I know.
Are they sketchy characters?
I mean, they must be. If the place is sketchy.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Or they're just poor.
Maybe, yeah. That's probably true.
Like, do Faye...
But also I feel like...
Faye dabble in...
crime?
No. I'm trying to think of how to say this properly for the internet.
Do they dabble in?
Do they dabble in the little...
Smoking the good?
Yeah.
Dabble
or the
lettuce.
bad? The bad.
The worst ones?
Yeah.
Doing drugs.
Faye meth?
Perhaps. I don't feel like Reese would allow them to be poor.
True.
You know what I mean?
So they must be drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Nonetheless, Nesta's there.
I have questions, though.
Yeah.
Do you think Fae meth is the same as mortal meth?
It's gotta be better.
It's gotta be stronger, right?
It would probably cause a human to OD immediately.
They're just like, oh, shit.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, it would be one of those.
Okay.
It'd be like a bone carver breath, but meth.
Oh, it's so dumb.
Obviously, Sarah.
All right, cool. We can move on. Thanks.
Okay, that's
Thanks
right.
for indulging me.
Sure. Anytime. But Feyre goes in alone. She leaves Reese outside.
Yeah. She's like, I should probably do this by myself.
Mm-hmm. Gets in there and Nesta's surrounded by 3 dudes.
Yeah. Are they like playing poker or something?
They're playing cards, yeah, something.
It's
and
poker.
drinking.
Yeah.
They're just drinking and playing cards.
And Nesta's like, what are you doing here?
Nesta doesn't even acknowledge her
I
at
know.
first. She's like, ow, why here? But
I can't see you.
yeah. All of the guys with her are like, oh my gosh, it's the High Lady. Hello.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome. Why are you here? That's weird. And she's like, can just leave. So they do.
Goodbye.
And Reese, like, throws a shield around him so people can't hear him talking.
Yeah, because they start talking,
Like,
and then people are
heatedly.
looking.
Yeah.
People are like,
Yeah. And Feyre's like, what the hell are you doing with your life, girl? Like,
Mm-hmm.
get it together. Elaine was really disappointed that you didn't come tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Come to Solstice.
Yeah.
And Nessa's
Please.
like, no, I have no desire to be with you.
Yeah.
And your people and your life. And she's just real mean and saucy.
Yeah.
And angry.
Yeah, she's big mad.
And she's like, I'm not doing it. And Feyre's like, oh, I can't talk to you.
Yeah.
And
Nesta's like, by the way, my rent's due. So.
all the way out. And they've been paying for everything for her.
Yeah.
And she's not doing a damn thing except for drinking and banging random males.
Yeah.
Again, excuse me, neighbor. I get it, but also,
Yeah.
you gotta do something eventually.
Well, and there's like there's a point where you're dealing with things, and then there's a point where you're taking it out on other people, and she's for sure taking it out on Feyre right now.
Yeah.
It's not Feyre's fault.
No.
Nothing
it's not.
that happened is Feyre's fault.
No.
And
Feyre,
Nesta knows that.
she does, underneath it all. She just wants to be mad.
Yeah, I
And
get it.
she's also, I don't know. Hopefully she gets her shit together soon. I wonder.
I don't know.
But before she leaves, Feyre's like, yeah, great. Okay, I'll get your rent money to you if you come to Solstice.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she uses that as a bargain, or a bribe, I should say. And Nesta's like, ugh, and doesn't respond, really. But Feyre leaves.
She does.
And we go back to Reese.
Yeah.
And him and Mor go on a walk. And they haven't been on a walk in a while.
Yeah, not since before the war.
I know. He's like, I may or may not have been kind of avoiding this because there's still weird shit between us after the whole Eris ordeal.
Yeah, which rightfully so, I feel like.
Yeah, that was still a dick move.
Mm-hmm.
And she asks him about Care and the Hewn Simony. What? It's not even close to the word. The Hewn City coming to.
I couldn't even figure out what you were trying to say.
Hewn Simony. And then I just kept saying it.
Simony.
It was a hot mess.
Simony.
Exactly. Anyways.
Sounds like a child trying to say cinnamon.
Simony, please. Anywho's it. So, listen here. Moore asks him, Reese, about when Care's coming.
Yeah.
And he's like, soon. Probably spring.
Mm-hmm.
But...
And he's like, no one will blame you if you want to...
Dip
it
out. Dip it.
Dippy dip.
Yeah, no one will blame you.
And she's like, that makes me a coward.
Uh-huh. And he does tell her that Cassian and Az have been, like, prepping security for this event for months.
Yeah.
So they're very well prepared. And she just kind of is like, okay, it is what it is. Reese still hasn't got a present for Feyre yet, so he's, like, asking more for help. And she's like, shouldn't you just know? Because she's your mate.
You are her mate.
But then he asks her if she'll be his, like, I don't know, his emissary or something to go talk to all the other kingdoms and, like, get them...
That was so...
I'm sorry, I'm built. He wants her to go talk to other kingdoms to, like, ensure alliances and...
Yeah. I'm trying to find the position what he called it. Wow.
I don't know if he had a title for it or not. I don't remember.
He says, I'm going to need you. And she's like, for what? Not with Kira in the Hewn City, not with holding the peace, not long enough for them to stabilize, asking them for treatment.
Yeah, I don't think it has a title. He just wants her to go, like, be a liaison, maybe, or act as, like, his presence in all these courts. He's like, you'll be the best at it.
Yeah. And
she essentially, like, asks if it's a choice or not. And there's a quote on page 127.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, take a few days to think about it. And she said you needed me. It didn't seem like there was much room for choice. And Reese says, you always have a choice. If you don't want to go, then it's fine. And she says, and who would do it instead? Amryn? They laugh about it. And he's like, certainly not Amryn. Not if we want peace. Just do me a favor and take some time to think about it before you say yes. Consider it an offer, not an order. And she asks him, does he win if I go? Talking about
Kier.
Yeah. He's like, you have to decide that for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And then she starts looking out beyond, like, toward the continent and the lands within, as if wondering what might be waiting there.
Yeah.
Also, it definitely is in first person for Reese's chapter. It says, I laughed again.
You're right. So it's just Feyre and Reese.
Yeah, they're the only important ones.
Because it's for sure not Cassian.
No, it's not. Why? Why do it for some and not the others?
I don't know.
That's weird,
yeah.
SJM.
It is weird.
Get it together, Sarah.
It would be one thing if they were separate books.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know Silver Flame is all...
Third person? Yeah.
But
it's all in the same book.
A mix...
I know.
In one book.
I don't understand.
One very short book.
Yeah.
Just make it all the same.
Yeah.
Come
Why
on.
not? Why not?
Sarah.
Jeez, Sarah.
Not me.
It's you. It's your fault.
I am Sarah J. Maas. You're right.
What? You couldn't be hooking me up with free books before now? Rude.
Peggy did. Just kidding. I'm not Sarah J. Maas.
She lied.
For legal purposes. I am not.
I am not stealing her identity. Anyway,
I would be able to talk about this book much more concise if I was her.
Yeah. You could tell us the whole story.
I wouldn't be like, what?
Then what? But then we're back to Feyre. Once more. And she and Elaine go shopping.
They do. And they go to a friggin' shop.
Yeah.
What is it called?
It's the
Weaver's shop.
Uh-huh.
Tapestries and rugs and things.
Yeah. Before that, I mean, I think they're there. Nonetheless, Elaine notices that Feyre's very hesitant to, like, spend money.
Yeah.
And she's like, I see what's going on here, you know? I see you. And Feyre's like, we have everything we need. Buying presents feels excessive. And Elaine says it's their tradition, though, one that they fought and died to protect in the war. Perhaps that's the better way to think of it, rather than feeling guilty. To remember that this day means something to them, all of them, regardless of who has more, who has less. And in celebrating the traditions, even through the presents, we honor those who fought for its very existence, for the peace the city now has. And I was like, that's very insightful, Elaine.
Yeah.
Okay,
very
shoot.
Insightful from our seer.
Sightseeing. Sightseeing for sure. Insightful seeing. Stop looking.
You just keep going. Insightful seeing.
What else am I supposed to do but keep going? I don't know what I'm saying, Sarah. Anyhow, they're at a weaver.
They're at the weaver's shop.
Yeah, and Feyre's looking at this one tapestry.
Finds a tapestry that sounds kind of creepy, honestly. Well, I mean, it sounds beautiful.
Yeah, it's the Night Court insignia.
Yeah.
So the mountain and stars. But it's like...
Yeah, but the blackness of it sounds creepy.
Yeah, it like devours color.
I'm sorry.
The fabric
sounded really bad. I did not mean that offensively.
No. The fabric. The black fabric is like devoid of all color. It like seems to eat it. Mm-hmm. Eat the color.
Nom nom.
Like she touches it and like her fingers disappear into it.
And Elaine's like, are you thinking about getting it? And she's like, I don't know what to get it for.
Yeah. But then she decides to talk to the weaver.
She does. And the weaver tells her.
This is a good chapter.
Yeah.
The weaver's like, well, I made it.
She made it after her husband was unalived in the war. Yeah. Or not in the war, in the attack on the city, right? No, he died in Adriata.
He did, yeah. He joined up with he joined up with the court marching towards Adriata. So she lost her mate.
Sad.
And they only had 1,000 years together. Or no, less than that.
Yep. She calls this fabric the void.
Yeah. And she says, Void was born, sorry, I don't even have a piece of him. He's gone and I am not. Void was born of that feeling. Mm-hmm. So it's really an expression of her grief. And then Elaine asks about the, like, silver threading, too. Mm-hmm. And she said she calls that hope. Hope in the void. And there's a quote. They keep talking a little bit. Mm-hmm. And Feyre asks her, like, how do you keep creating despite what you lost? And this is page 134. And the weaver says, I have to create, or it was all for nothing. I have to create, or I will crumple up with despair and never leave my bed. I have to create because I have no other way of voicing this. Her hand rested on her heart and my eyes burned. It is hard, the weaver said, her stare never leaving mine, and it hurts. But if I were to stop, if I were to let this loom of the spindle go silent, then there would be no hope shining in the void. Which is very inspiring for good old Feyre.
Yeah. And then Feyre's like, all right, I'll buy it.
Yeah, take it. I'm taking it.
It's mine now.
It's mine. You can't.
Hands off.
Don't touch it. She does buy it. And then what does she do, Sarah?
That's a great question, Danielle.
Well,
what does she do?
She goes...
Oh, she goes to paint.
Yeah, she goes directly to the studio.
Yeah.
And she's just, like, painting away.
She's painting, and then friggin' Racina walks in.
Racina, I think.
And she's like, I thought you'd be in here because I saw your light the other night.
Yeah.
You weren't sneaky.
You thought.
And Feyre's like, oh, shit. Let me get out of your way. I'm sorry. Because she's, like, cleaning.
Yeah.
She just comes in and starts cleaning.
Rosina is there to clean, yeah. Feyre just starts shoving stuff into the pocket.
Into the pocket between realms. Yeah, I'm like...
Which I love. And it seems chaotic. She's just, like, chucking.
She even says, like, I don't even care if they spill. It's fine.
She's feeling awkward panicking. As fuck. She's like, I can't get out of here fast enough.
She saw me paint. Oh, God. I gotta go.
Yeah, and she has like a bunch of paintings. Like she knocked out a bunch of them really quickly.
Yeah.
And she's like throwing them all in the void, even though they're still drying. She's just like, I gotta get out of here.
In the pocket, not the void.
Sorry.
Jeez.
The void is the tapestry. My goodness. Yeah, she gets out of there quick.
Yeah.
Even though Racina's still like, you should buy this place. She keeps like trying to push Feyre to get in touch with the owner and be like, you should take it.
Yeah, and she's like, I think that the Polina, who is the person who had the shop but died.
Yeah.
She's like, I think she would like you.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're using this space.
Aww.
Go talk to her family and
just
buy
take it.
Come on.
I feel like Feyre's so up in arms about like using money, but I'm like, would it not be helping that family who lost their person?
Right. You would think.
You think. Now they're just
sitting there vacant.
Yeah. Feyre, come on. You're all about doing service.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, in her rush to leave, she runs into Rhys when she gets outside.
Yeah.
And she asks him if he thinks that, like, having a studio where she could teach painting and, like, healing through painting is dumb. Mm-hmm. And he's like, you won't know until you find out, basically. Yeah. Like, would people come? He's like, well.
Yeah, and he's like, we can buy you a studio space if you need a spot to paint. And she's like, it's not.
It's not about that.
It's not about a place to paint. It's, like, the feeling of the place.
It's the vibe.
Yeah.
I get that, Feyre. But, yeah, he's like, well, I guess you're just going to have to find out, huh?
Yep.
But then Feyre goes to see Amryn.
She goes to see Amryn, and she walks into Amryn's apartment, and she's like, it smells weird in here. And Amryn's like, oh, about that.
Don't worry about it.
I've been getting busy.
Yeah.
And Feyre's like, ugh, gross.
Sick. Amryn and Varian have really been getting at each other.
And Feyre's like, you could open a window.
She's like, shut up. Amryn just doesn't care.
She says, it's cold outside.
Yeah. And she's just doing puzzles.
Yep.
She's doing jigsaw puzzles. Yep. And Feyre's like, really? Puzzles? Mm-hmm. Like, that's what you're going to do? And she's like, well, since that stupid book isn't a problem anymore, like, I had to busy myself somehow.
Busy my brain somehow. Feyre asks where Varian is, and Amryn's like, he's out buying me more presents.
Yeah, I think she told him he needed something better, because she's like, yeah, he decided that what he got from the summer court wasn't good enough. Freaking Amryn, man.
Makes me giggle.
I know, I love her. But Feyre wants to talk to her about Nesta.
Yeah.
And this is when we find out that Nesta's been visiting Amryn, right. Like, a few times a week. And Feyre's like, is she all right? What's going on here? And Amryn essentially is like, well, I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to break her confidence.
Not my place. I'm not going to gossip about her when she's not around.
Yeah. She's like, I like Nesta, and I think part of the reason I like her so much is because nobody else does.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to break her trust.
Mm-hmm.
So, sorry about it.
Sorry.
Can't get any info from me.
If you want info, you got to get it from her.
That's right. Then we go to Rhys.
Go to good old Rhys.
And he Kaz an ass. Kaz an ass. I just can't. I mix their names almost every time I say them together.
Kaz an ass. Kazriel.
Kazriel. The Bat Boys are back from a meeting with Devlin. What?
Nothing. This is not the place to talk about it.
What?
We did our Guess Who last week, and I said, do people often compare your person to an animal? And you were like, I was talking about the Bat Boys.
I understood that part.
Okay.
But I'm also like, Rhys isn't like, they're not talking about him like Bat all the time. I guess the readers are.
People.
Okay.
Come
all right.
on,
I'm sorry I ruined your time.
It's fine.
You're pissed.
I am. Not that it would have helped me at all, but
you still went for Cassian. You weren't asking the right questions to get to Rhys. Just saying.
I wasn't. You're correct.
Yeah. But then you're like, paint? Anyways, go watch our TikToks.
Yeah. Check them out.
But Bad Boys. They're back from Devlin.
Yep.
And he set up a training schedule for the women that's going to go down after solstice. So he's like finally taking steps in the right direction.
Yeah.
Rhys and Az are still not telling Cassian everything about the dissension, hoping that he'll take a break.
Yep. He has to relax a little bit.
He sure does. And Reese, like, suggests to Cassian that he should get a house. They're in a tiny-ass room.
They don't have room. Yeah. The beds are too small.
Cassian...
And Reese is like, I can try to get you a bigger one, but, like...
It's Solstice, man.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
And they have to share a room because all the other ones are full. He's like, man, this is some terrible digs.
They need to get some bunk beds.
They do.
For the Bat Boys.
I assume Azriel has a house because Reese doesn't talk about his. Where does Az live?
That's true.
I want to know about Azriel's house.
Why don't we know? Why don't we get any info about Az?
I hope we do.
We don't
eventually.
get Az chapters.
No, I want an Az chapter. Come on.
That's all.
Hopefully there's a book about him.
There better be.
There better be. I love Azriel.
Me too.
But nonetheless, they're meant to share a room, and Cassian's like making fun of it, and Reese is like, "Well, get a freaking house in Valaris," and Cassian's like, "I have a house in Illyria." And a room at the House of Wind. That's enough. And I think Reese is like implying you should like build some roots in case anything were to happen with Nesta. But Cass is like, no, it's fine. I just need a room. It's all good.
Yeah. Which, I mean, at this point, it's not looking promising that anything's going to happen with Nesta.
Yeah, at this point in time. It's not good. But then it's Solstice Eve.
Yep.
Reese is thirsty for Feyre.
He sure is.
He's like, man, she looks good.
Oh my God.
Look at that ass. Delicious. And he starts getting stinky about it.
Yeah.
And Amren's like, dude.
Amren or more.
I think it's Amren. She's like, come on. And he's like, oh, sorry. But then she like looks at Barry and like, I understand.
I really liked what your tongue did just now. It's really not creepy at all.
Not at all. To sort of get out of that awkward moment, Reese talks about inviting Tarkeen to Solstice. And
Varian's like, oh, think about it.
Nah, I don't want to.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to, like...
Work.
I want to...
Bang
my
all day.
Woman.
Yeah. But then everyone is there. No Nesta yet. More as Cassie and Elaine. Everyone's just hanging out.
Varian.
Well, we just talked about him. But anyway, they're gathering around for Solstice Eve.
They are gathering.
Gathering left and right. But they drink a bunch.
They do. They do a cute little cheers.
Yeah.
And they drink.
And Feyre wakes up hungover.
Yeah.
But then Reese has gifts.
He does. Because it's her birthday.
Yeah.
She's like, I thought we did gifts later. And he's like, well, I thought I could make an exception because it's your birthday.
Yeah, there's no rules for you. It's your birthday. And she's like, oh, of course you remembered.
And the first thing he gets her is a sketchbook.
With, like, her initials on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets her a scarf.
A scarf.
He's like, so you can stop stealing Moors. And then he got her a painting satchel. With her initials and the Night Court insignia.
And Feyre's like, okay, this is too much.
Yeah.
This is getting excessive.
Just you wait, Feyre. And she's...
Yeah.
But he's all laying naked, looking at her opening his presents. She's like, I want to draw you.
I want to paint you.
So they just, like, sit in the room for hours while she draws him naked. She's like, he was very impressed with how I depicted certain areas of his body.
She's like, no one else will ever see this sketchbook.
I'm not trying to share that glorious vision. But then they, like, go down to breakfast, and Cass and Az come and steal him.
Yeah. They just kidnap him. And they're like, well, we'll be back later.
Yeah,
He'll come back in one piece, don't worry.
Farrah's like, good. Get out of here.
She's like, okay.
She doesn't seem bothered. She just keeps eating his food. She's like, great, have fun.
Yeah, she eats a lot.
Yeah, good for her.
I know. I wish I could eat a lot and be skinny.
Yeah, I know. That'd be great. But they're all in fighting leathers.
Yeah.
And they're like, tradition! And leave. She's like, the fuck? And then Farrah's doing some, like, chores. She's doing some political crap while they're gone and is looking at their, like, assets and budgets and stuff. And she's like, my God.
Yeah.
We definitely have enough money to buy that studio.
Yeah.
If I wanted to. But then she's like, this is not how I should be spending my solstice.
Yeah. So she goes to,
find Elaine.
That's right. She asks Reese down the bond, too. She's like, where are you? And he's like, don't worry about it.
Yeah. You don't want to know. But she finds Elaine, but then who shows up? Sarah?
Friggin' Lucian.
Yeah.
Friggin' Lucian comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Just acting like he's been there the whole time.
He comes in with presents.
He's like, happy solstice.
Yeah.
Bitches.
And they have a weird exchange. They, like, get a little heated.
Yeah.
He comes in. He's like, well, I just want to wish you a solstice, but I'm not staying.
Yeah.
And,
Elaine's like, you're welcome to stay. Or not Elaine, sorry. Feyre. And he's like, nah, I have plans.
yeah.
She's like, where are you going?
Mm-hmm. And he apparently is good old buddies with Jurian and Bassa.
Uh-huh.
And they call themselves, like, the Band of Exiles.
Yeah.
and
he's, like, snippy about it.
Yeah.
He's like, they're my friends. Yeah. That's where I belong. I almost fell.
Oh, my God.
It was dramatic. It's fine.
You almost tumbled out to your death. Just kidding.
There is a cliff behind me.
A cliff. Surprise. We're on a cliff. Anyway, yeah, he's got his Band of Exiles. And apparently Jurian got, like, a manor from Grayson's dad or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they have a whole estate.
Yeah.
And Lucian's been staying there most of the time.
Yeah. And Feyre's like, well, what about Vasa? She'll be sent back eventually. And he's like, she's fine.
Yeah. He's all, like, defensive about them. Mm-hmm. And she's like, what are you Band of Exiles gonna do? And he's like, you don't need to worry about that. We're not doing anything. Just don't worry about it. And they're getting, like, snippy and weird.
Mm-hmm.
And Feyre's like, interesting.
Yeah.
And he's like, what? What is? And she's like, that you now feel more comfortable with humans than with the High Fae. If you ask me, and he's like, I'm not. It seems like you've decided to fall in with two people without homes of their own as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she and him get snippy.
They do. Which
And
I don't like.
I know,
I
but
like it when they're friends.
Me too. He starts blaming stuff on her, though. He's
Yeah.
like, I have nowhere else to go. You destroyed the spring court. Like, I don't know what to tell you. And Samlin? What?
Oh, excuse me?
Apparently, Samlin again. Tamlin. Tammy
tantrums.
He
sent
kicked Lucian out.
Yeah, he, like, sends all of Lucian's shit to
the Band of Exiles
Band
house.
of Exile manor.
So he's like,
you're not welcome back here anymore, buddy.
He's ousted.
Yeah.
So Lucian's mad at her.
Which, Tamlin, you're, like, throwing away the one person who feels bad for you.
I know.
What are you doing, buddy?
Yeah.
But anyways, this is not about him.
It's not. And he also goes on, so he's blaming Feyre for that part of things. But then he's like, and then Rhys's visit didn't help to Tamlin, like, kicking a man while he's down.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Which is fair.
Yeah, it is. Feyre's like, I can't say I'm particularly sorry that he did that, so...
Yeah, and then Rhys, like, chimes in down the bond, and he's like, are you good?
Yeah.
Like, he can sense that something's going on.
Yeah.
And she
sends him the whole interaction.
She sends him the interaction. He's like, do you need me to come home? And she's like, nah.
And then
I got this.
I know.
And Lucian, like, knows that they're talking, and he's like, oh.
You checking in? Yeah. Can't do anything without your mate.
Yeah.
Is basically what he's getting at. And she's like, I don't know what the heck you're talking about. And he's like, yeah, okay. The big box is for you. The little one's for Elaine. And storms the heck out of there.
He friggin' leaves.
He leaves. And so... While
Feyre then gets snippy at Elaine.
Yeah.
Like, you could have at least been nice to him.
I know.
And Elaine's like, why?
I don't know him.
I don't know him.
Yeah. Why would I need to do anything for him?
Yeah.
She's like, he brought you a present. She's like, okay, does that earn him something?
Yeah, she says, and that entitles him to my time and affection.
Yeah.
Like, no,
I know.
It doesn't.
She gets snippy.
Absolutely not.
And then Feyre feels bad after a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I know, fine, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
He is a good male, but, like, I don't know. I just don't want to see either of you unhappy. Mm-hmm. They have this whole conversation.
Elaine's like, I know.
Yeah,
I know
whatever.
you know.
But then she goes and finds more.
Yep.
And she gets her drink.
Yep.
And she tells Feyre to just, like, stay out of it, you know? They gotta resolve it in their own time. You meddling is not gonna help anything.
Yep.
She's talking about Nesta and Elaine and Lucien. Like, they all need to just get their shit together on their own. And then she's like, so, you want to know what the boys are up to?
Yeah,
or
so
Feyre asks her. Yeah, they winnow over to the cabin.
The freaking cabin.
The cabin that Feyre painted. And
yeah.
they got crazy in when they solidified their mating bond.
Mating. Yeah. So they winnow outside,
yep.
and Feyre just sees all these snow forts, and she's like, the men are having a snowball fight.
A giant snowball fight. With their Illyrian leathers. They're, like, ready for battle.
But they're, like, not allowed to use magic.
Yeah.
They're just, like, it's a mortal snow fight.
They're just hucking snowballs at each other and, like, giggling like little boys.
Yeah. It's very adorable.
It's very cute. And I love that, like, they spend all day doing it. And Feyre's like, who wins? And she's like, I honestly have no idea how they decide. I think
Moore says whoever doesn't get frostbite.
Yeah. They just stay out all day.
Yeah.
Hucking snowballs. So ridiculous. So they, like, oh, this is funny, too. They, like, go in the house to drink, the cabin. And the boys come in a little bit later and, like, they're going to go steam together in the Birchen or something. Uh-huh. And Feyre's like, really? They all go in and get naked together in a steam room. And Rhys Downbond's like, you want to see or something? And she starts sending him, like, saucy, like, comments to get him aroused. Uh-huh. And he gets kicked out.
Yeah, okay. I want to read this a little bit. Mm-hmm. The little quote here. This is on page 173. Feyre says, so the three of them are just in there naked, sweating. And Rhys says down the bottom, interested in taking a look. The dark purr echoed into my mind. And Feyre says back, go back to your sweating. Rhys says there's room for one more in here, like inviting her in with all three of them. Yeah. Which, well,
is that the worst thing in the world?
Okay.
Say less.
I would love to read about that. Oh my god.
Come on, SJ. Come on.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
But anyways, I just wanted to mention that.
I know.
Like,
and she's like,
I'm interested.
Yeah. Could we make a fanfic? Yeah. Somebody write it for us. Thank you. It might already be written. Who knows?
Very possible.
But yeah, she gets him all aroused.
Yeah, and he gets kicked out.
Yeah, he's like, this is really not a good time for you to be doing that, Feyre. And she hears, like, a door slam and him slam, like, knocking on it, trying to get in. I love it. Anyway, they then get back to Valaris, and, you know, they're hanging out.
They are drinking some more.
They got more to drink.
This whole solstice thing is just a big old drink fest.
Ragers, yeah. And Rhys's one cheers is to the blessed darkness from which we are born and to which we return. That's all he says. Feyre's like, that's all I got? He's like, do you want me to keep going? She's like, nope. So they just start drinking and, like, start to go after presents that they've all gotten each other. Mm-hmm. Rhys just, like, pulls them out of the void. He has a stack of everyone's presents, and they're like, oh, yeah, we started doing that because nobody could, like,
Rhys is the only trustworthy one, yeah.
Amryn was shaking one. Cassian was sniffing them. What could it be? So they're not trusted with their gifts anymore.
Yeah, and Feyre's like, oh shit, mine are up here in a closet, and Rhys is like, nah,
I got them. Of course he knows where they are. He knows what they all are, probably. Yeah. But he, like, gets the gifts, and they're about to start digging in when Nesta knocks.
Nesta does a little naked knock.
Yeah, well, they hear a naked knock, and everyone's like, wow, it's gotta be her. They go quiet. Thank you for the reenactment.
I was trying really hard to find something to knock on.
She knocked on several items, so maybe you heard none or all. That's a terrible knock.
Hang on.
Nobody would hear that. Nope. You need something you can cop knock on. There you go. My dogs, I swear, I would be not surprised if they heard that.
I didn't even think about the doggies.
Oh, it's okay. Vanessa shows up, and she's all freaking grumpy, of course.
She's like, I'm like, why did you even come?
I'm here.
I guess she had to get rent.
To get rent money.
Yeah.
And Elaine comes and, like, pulls her into the room and takes her over to the liquor cabinet. And she's like, you want some of this?
Yeah.
And Elaine, like, takes a shot before
you which is, I think, the first time we've ever seen her drink.
She's like, God, I can't handle this stress.
this is gonna be awkward.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they all start exchanging gifts.
Yes.
And there's a bunch of cool gifts. I don't know that we need to talk about all of them.
Wait, do they do the gifts first? There's a cake.
There's gifts before and after Nesta shows up.
But the cake?
Oh, the cake is
after Nesta
before
shows
Nesta
up?
comes up.
Okay, I just want to talk about the cake.
Yeah.
That Elaine made, Feyre, for her birthday.
Yeah, she worked with
Real
Nuala
quick.
and Caradwyn to make her birthday cake.
Yeah, and it's 3 tiers.
It sure is.
And what in the world could it be designed like?
Well,
It's the freaking dresser.
the dress. It has what, like?
So the top tier is, hang on, I'll get there. Flowers.
Yep.
The middle one is flames, and the bottom is stars. And Elaine tells Feyre, I asked Nuala to do it in that order because you're the foundation, the one who lifts us. You've always have been.
Damn
sweet. So sweet, I can't handle it.
I know. Elaine's cute.
Yeah.
I still don't really care about her though. But no, I mean,
neither.
okay, if there's a love story with Azriel, then I'm down.
Absolutely.
But also the flames. What's that about? It's very. We'll talk about it later. Well, yeah, I know, but I'm like, that was way before anything ever happened.
It's true.
You know what I mean? Interesting.
She's fiery.
She's fiery.
Fiery little personality.
She's fiery with her sass. But Nesta gets there. She's awkward. She just sits quietly in the corner for a while. And some presents that I remember. I don't care to talk about all of them unless you really want to.
No.
Cassian got more negligee because she gave him a very specific ask.
Yes.
Moore's presents are terrible.
Yeah.
She gets like towels.
I think she got Azriel towels that have his initials on them.
Yeah.
Like hand towels, not even a full-size towel.
Yep. Elaine's the only one who got Nesta a present, and it's like books. Smutty books, I think. Or romance, if nothing else.
Sure.
But they all are exchanging presents.
Yeah.
And Nesta's brooding.
I think that Cassian got more, right? More or Amryn? The negligee? More.
And she got him...
She got him a matching one, which is hilarious.
She knew exactly what she was going to get. So it was a perfect opportunity. Yeah. But they're all doing their gifty stuff while freaking Nesta's brooding. And then they get to Feyre's gifts. And she gives Cass and Azriel paintings.
Yes.
And I don't remember what she gets for more. I don't know if it matters, but the paintings are more important than the other stuff, probably.
Yeah.
But then,
she got Amryn a manuscript.
she got Amryn a box for a puzzle, like a travel box.
Oh no, that was from Amryn. Sorry.
Gotcha.
Azriel got her a paint. Cassian.
Yeah. She got a bunch of cute presents.
Doesn't matter.
But then Feyre's gift to Rhys is the painting from the Ouroboros. There's a quote. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah, is it that one?
Oh shit, yeah, dog shit.
Snippity
Do you want to
snap.
read it or do you want me to read it?
You can read it.
Okay, shit.
You're better at reading.
Page 185. Am I? That's debatable. Anyways. So she gives him the painting.
Yeah.
And says, for on that painting I'd shown him what I had not yet revealed to anyone. What the Ouroboros had revealed to me, the creature inside myself, the creature full of hate and regret and love and sacrifice, the creature that could be cruel and brave, sorrowful and joyous. I gave him me, as no one but him would ever see me. No one but him would ever understand. It's beautiful, he said, his voice still hoarse. I blinked away the tears that threatened at those words and leaned into the kiss he pressed to my mouth. You are beautiful, he whispered down the bond. So are you. And before this sweet moment, we're not allowed. We will probably one day. Something's gonna get us.
I will not cry on the internet ever again.
Hilarious. If we read any sort of emotional book,
I'm like, have you met me? I cry about literally everything.
I cry a lot too, but Right before this, like, sweet moment, though, Cass is like, man, what the heck is that? He, like, peeks over.
I hope it's not your new pet, I think he says.
He peeks over his shoulder. I'm like, oh, Cassian. Silly Cassian.
I love him.
I know. Me too. But then the gift from Elaine to Az is so cute, too. She got Az a gift, and he opens it, and it's like a little tincture, like a little bottle. Mm-hmm. She's like, I got it from Maja. It should help with all the headaches you get from these people.
It's for the headaches everyone always gives you since you rub your temples so often.
And Astrid just starts busting up laughing, and everybody laughs along with him. And
Cassian's like, brilliant.
I know, and even Elaine is like laughing along with everyone, and it's clear that Nesta feels very much like an outsider. Like even Elaine now is starting to get in with the group.
Yeah.
So that's a lot. But there's a lot of laughter and drinking, and then Nesta decides to get the heck out of there.
She does. And I feel like she just, like, gets up without saying anything to anyone and goes to the door.
Yeah, and Feyre follows her.
Feyre follows her and is like, here's the thing I promised you.
Yeah.
Here's your rent like, plus some.
Great, I'm leaving. Mm-hmm. She sort of ignores her and just leaves. But then Cassian runs past.
He storms out the door.
He goes out.
Yeah.
They haven't said a word to each other in any of this book.
Yeah.
He runs out. He's like, I'm walking you home. And she's like, no, you're not. Go back inside.
Yeah, and he's like, he's pissed on the way to her, but once he gets to her, he's like, everything that he was mad about just goes away.
Yeah, he just wants her.
I'm walking you home.
I know.
I'm like, grow some balls, dude.
But also, like,
but he loves her.
He loves her.
I know.
And she's like, I don't want anything from you.
Mm-hmm.
And he had gotten her a little gift. So they're like going back and forth.
Yeah, and he tries to give it to her, and she's like, nah.
Yeah.
I don't want it.
I know. And they're arguing, and he has flashbacks to the moment where she, like, was about to sacrifice herself to die with him. Mm-hmm. And how she had said, I have no regrets in my life but this, that we did not have time. Like, that's what we came from, was her dying with him, essentially professing that she wanted to be with him.
I think that Cassian's the one that said that, but then she laid on top of him.
Okay.
To save him. Or not to save him, but so they would die together, basically.
I don't know. I feel like maybe she said it. I could be wrong. But they were having, like, a moment where it was clear that they had something for each
there
other.
was definitely something.
And he's reliving that and thinking about that. But she just does not care.
It was Cassian that said it because he said it when he was trying to convince her to leave. To save herself. And leave him.
Okay.
And she wouldn't leave him.
Okay. Either way, he's remembering this moment and really trying to, like, get her to hear him. And she's like, I've made my thoughts clear enough. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk to anyone. Why should I have to try to do anything? Like, just leave me alone. Mm-hmm. She tells him to stop and he asks her to talk to him. But she only, like, stares at him as if he were nothing. He says a low-born Illyrian bastard, and he just lets her. Time. Yeah, he just lets her walk off.
Yeah.
But he doesn't leave. He, like, follows her overhead.
Well, before this, he throws the gift he got her into the Cedra.
He does. Yeah.
Which I want to know what.
I know
it was
a little box. Are you trying to get married right now?
Oh my god!
I'll take it. Cassian, I could use the ring.
Look at my naked finger.
Come on. Yeah, we'll call him up.
Yeah.
He throws it away, and he follows her home. And then it goes to, like, Nesta for a second.
Yeah.
She gets home, and she...
Well, and she's the one who says that he followed her. Like, we don't see that from Cassian's point of view, but she gets home, and she's like, I know he's still out there. I can hear his wings flapping.
Yeah. She'd known it in her bones, her blood. He'd kept high in the skies. She'd known that they have they know stuff about each other without having to know it. You know what I'm saying? Like before, when he just knew that something was wrong with her and came storming in. Like, there's been so many instances of that, guys. What the heckle?
It's gotta be something.
No, for sure. Come on. But Nessa's back in her apartment alone. And she starts talking. She's just not okay.
She's not okay.
She's really not okay.
She mentions that she hasn't had a fire to, like, keep her room warm since she moved in because she can't stand the sound of the wood cracking because it reminds her of her father's neck snapping.
Yeah, and that being in the townhouse tonight was like torture because she could hear the fire the whole time.
And she's like, does no one else hear that?
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me?
You need to talk about your feelings, Nesta.
I know.
But she gets back
therapy.
And she... For sure. You need a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
But she looks at the check she got and she says she tried and failed to muster the shame, but nothing came, nothing at all. There was anger occasionally, sharp, hot anger that sliced her, but most of the time it was silence. Ringing, droning silence. She hadn't felt anything in months. Had days when she didn't really know where she was or what she'd done. They passed swiftly and yet dripped by. So she's in the thick of some hardcore depression.
Yeah.
Poor Nesta.
I know.
She's not okay. But she is in her room now. She hears Cassian leave after she, like, turns the lights on and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And she just, like, falls to the floor and hugs her knees to her chest, and she's not okay.
I know. I want to give her a
Poor
hug.
Nesta.
She'd probably slap me if I
For
tried,
sure.
though.
She would beat the shit out of you. Especially as a fae, girl. You don't stand a chance. One slapping and be on the ground.
It's true.
Yeah. But Nesta.
I know. I feel bad for her.
Me too. Somebody help her.
And she's going through all of this and everyone just thinks she's a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, but she's not. She's going through it.
I mean, I think, I don't know. There's only so much you can do when she can't talk to you and stuff. But I do feel like, I don't know what they need to do. Outside of just either, like, push the shit out of her until she gets angry enough to, like, kind of like what Reese did with Feyre. Like, push her until she actually feels stuff.
Yeah.
Or leave her be for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe both.
Maybe both.
Leave her be and then push the shit out of her.
Well, I mean, I won't say that.
Yeah, I know. Nesta. We'll be back to her. Don't you worry.
Then we go back to Feyre.
Yep. Back to Feyre.
Why? Her and Reese are hanging out.
Why? Yep. Yeah.
It was just really intense.
I know. I'm sorry.
Her and Reese are hanging out. They're in their bedroom.
Yeah.
And she's like trying to get undressed, trying to take her cuffs off. And Reese is like, no, not yet.
Yeah.
And he winnows them to the cabin.
We find out that all of her beautiful gowns were made by his mother.
Which was really sweet.
For his future wife.
Yeah, and she's like, why didn't you tell me? And he's like, I thought you'd be kind of like creeped out to be wearing a dead woman's dresses.
Yeah. She's like, I'm honored. What do you mean?
Yeah.
And they were beautiful. And they have sweet moments. Like, I would have loved your mom.
Mm-hmm.
And
he says she would have loved you.
Yeah. But she tells him.
Yeah.
She's like, so hear me out.
Yeah.
These eyeballs on my hands.
Yeah.
I think I want to change them. Since you're not using them to snoop on me anymore. He's like, me a snoop.
He's like, I don't ever use them to snoop on you. I'm just like, don't be an idiot.
I didn't even know I could do that. And she wants to make them the Night Court insignia. Mm-hmm. She wants to be truly a Night Court high lady. He's like...
And yeah, Reese tells her that if he does that, those markings can never be altered.
And she's like, great.
She's like, good.
I don't plan on going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you're sure? She's like, absolutely.
Absolutely.
And so he does it for her. Oh. But she says, I have one last solstice gift for you.
So much more. I know.
I
know. And she shows him what that gift is.
Through their bond.
Through the bond.
What's that gift?
Wants to have a freaking baby.
She wants to have a baby.
And I'm assuming that she showed him, like, the bone carver again.
Mm-hmm. The little boy that she saw.
This is my present for you.
Yeah.
This
and
little
he's
boy.
Like, what?
He's like, are you sure?
He, like, breaks down. He's like, what the heck? Are you sure we can wait? It could take years. And she's like, I can be patient. I want to do this with you.
Yeah.
And, of course, that,
And she's like, would it be a gift for you?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course. She's like, is this actually making you feel weird or like you down for this? But that, gets him going naturally. Mm-hmm. And she's like, you can just stop taking your tonic.
Yeah.
Whatever. And then they,
Well, and he's like, should we start tonight?
Yeah.
And she's like, well, yeah,
obviously. That's my plan. The wall, remember? Against the wall?
Yeah, she says, that was my plan. And he's like, do you want to know what my plan was? My plan involved this cabin and a wall because he made her a promise that he would take her against a wall in, like, book 2.
Yeah, callbacks.
Yeah.
So they certainly do that.
They do. For a whole chapter, they
go
bang.
to Flavortown for an entire chapter. If y'all want just Reese and Feyre going at it, it's chapter something. 22.
Chapter something. And there's, okay, I do want to talk about this. I know we normally kind of skip over these spicy parts.
Yeah.
But there's a lot in this one that I want to talk about.
There sure is. Tell me.
So, Reese basically lets Feyre into his mind while he's banging her.
Yeah.
And so she's like watching him, watching herself from his perspective.
Yes.
And then she's like,
can you also fuck me in here?
Yeah.
In their minds?
In the brains?
And then they're like on a soul bridge banging? I'm sorry. Is it actually it's not their physical form. She's like, we don't have bodies.
It's like
here.
their souls.
Yeah.
They're having soul sex.
Soul sex. It's way deeper than
Deeper. Deeper. They got some new positions.
Deep as possible.
Yeah. But yeah, this is all wild. And like, basically she's like, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Yeah. How do you get better?
Really, though.
They are connected in every facet and every way.
Yeah.
He's filling up every part of her that he has ever tried to fill and more. Mind to mind. Mind to mind. The stars and darkness pause too. Yeah. They're going to Flavortown, both mind and body.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing. And then at one point, they stop after they...
I mean, yeah.
After they come to completion. Bang everyone. Everyone? Bang all parts of each other.
After they bang everyone.
And then they go down the floor to do it again. But there's a quote here, and I'm trying to see where I start. Because I don't know how much I want to read of it or not. It's fine. Okay. But they're coming down a little bit after all that.
Mm-hmm.
And they're looking at each other, just like breathing in each other.
Yeah.
And she says, I lifted my eyes to his gaze and found stars in darkness waiting, found home waiting. Never enough, not to paint him, know him. Eons would never be enough for all I wanted to do. See with him, for all I wanted to love him. For all I wanted to love him. That's a weird sentence. The painting shone before me, night triumph, and the star eternal. Do it again, I breathed, and my voice hoarse. Reese knew what I meant. That's when they go to the floor.
Uh-huh. Stop.
Okay, sorry. And even when we eventually collapsed on the rug, barely avoiding the broken pictures and vase shards, unable to move for a good long while, that image of my gift remained between us, shimmering so bright as any star. That beautiful, blue-eyed, dark-haired boy that the bone carver had once shown me. The promise of the future.
It's so sweet.
Page 107 was that quote.
Yeah.
So they're going to have a baby.
They're going to have a baby eventually, maybe, if they're lucky.
I mean,
apparently it's real hard for Faye to get pregnant.
It's true.
And I wonder if that has something to do with the biannual
periods.
Cycle.
Yeah, maybe. Probably.
I don't
know, but they're going to try.
I wonder.
They're going to try a lot.
I sure wonder.
They're going to try here and there, up and down.
They're going to get a lot of practice.
Yeah. Yes, for certainly.
But then they go back.
Yeah.
They go back the next morning.
Yeah. And listen. Okay? Just hear me out. What the heck?
What the heck?
What the heck?
What the heck?
Reese is like, I have another present for you.
Yeah, they don't go to the townhouse.
Nope.
Where do they go?
They go to the outside of a, crumbled estate.
Yeah.
On the river. And he's like, this is my gift, my last gift to you.
Mm-hmm.
He bought her a whole ass estate.
Yeah, I want one.
Yeah, right?
And he tells her that she gets to build it however she wants. Mm-hmm. Like, they're going to tear it all down.
Yeah.
And rebuild it.
He's like, you get free reign, lady.
He's like, build it with all the rooms that you need.
I know. And
for all the people.
And for our family, our growing family.
Yeah.
And she's like, this is too damn much. And he's like, no, it's not. Mm-hmm. Like, we need the space. One, it's practical reasons. Like, we want our family in the home.
No one wants to be in the house of wind. No. Because it's kind of up there and creepy.
It's out of the way. There's a lot of wind.
Obviously. So much wind.
And, you know, they all live together and they want to be happy and comfortable.
Yeah.
And so he's like, do it. Do it.
Yeah. I want to read a little quote.
Okay.
This is on page 209. He tells her, build a house with a painting studio. Build a house with an office for you and one for me. Build a house with a bathtub big enough for 2 and for wings. Another blah, blah, blah. Build a house with rooms for all our family. Build a house with a garden for Elaine, a training ring for the Illyrian babies, a library for Amryn, and an enormous dressing room for Moore. Build a house with a nursery, Feyre.
Stop it. Stop it.
I can't handle it.
Me neither. I can't. I cannot. I'm deceased.
It's the cutest thing I've ever heard.
I know. I love them. I know. I love them.
I know.
And the next chapter goes to Rhys.
Yeah.
And he's like, the sex had destroyed me. Utterly ruined me. So he's coming off that. But then he's like, I'm going to go see Tamlin.
Any lingering scrap of my soul that hadn't already belonged to her had unconditionally surrendered last night.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
It's like someone just stabbed me in the heart in the best way possible. It's so
good stab.
Disgustingly sweet.
I know. They are just
and saucy.
So yeah, they're just so consumed by each other.
Yeah. He's like, now that I smell like sex and my woman, I'm gonna go visit Tamlin.
Yeah, let's rub it in.
Yeah.
He's actually not trying to, but I'm sure that's definitely a side effect of his presence. But he goes to see Tamlin. Definitely. And there's absolutely no one there, and Tamlin won't come to the door. Mm-hmm. And Rhys just, like, lets himself in. Every room in the house is in ruin.
Yeah.
Everything's destroyed. He finds Tamlin in the kitchen.
Downstairs in the kitchen?
With
like, in the basement kitchen?
Yeah, he's just creepy.
With an elk.
With a giant bleeding elk.
Dead elk on the table.
Dripping.
And Tamlin's just sitting there staring at it.
In silence.
And there's still a knife in it or something?
Yeah.
Or maybe it's in the table, I don't know.
Yeah, and Rhys came to tell him that he had talked to Tarkeen and he's willing to send Summer Court people to the border so that he doesn't have to deal with the Night Court folks.
Yeah. And Rhys is like, is that acceptable to you?
Uh-huh.
And Tamlin's just like...
He ignores him. But then he goes...
Ignoring him.
Do you think she'll forgive me, Tamlin?
Yeah.
And Rhys is like, bruh.
Here we go again.
He's like, do you want her to? He asks if he deserves it. Mm-hmm. In his mind, Rhys is like, no, absolutely not. And
then Rhys asks him, do you... No, sorry. Tamlin asks... No. Yes. No. Yeah, Tamlin asks, do you forgive me for your mother and sister? And Rhys is like, well, you never apologized, buddy.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to forgive you?
I know. And he's like, well, I don't think it'll make a difference anyway for either of you, to apologize at all. And so Rhys is like, damn, this guy's in a bad way.
Yeah, he
just magics him up a meal. He and the deer's butchered.
Yeah.
At first it's like the skin slopped.
Slopped onto the floor.
Can't with that. But he butchers the deer with no thought.
A slap of wet flesh.
Sick. Nobody needs that.
I mean,
well, you're right. It could be in better context. Slap of wet flesh.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
Sick.
He butchers the deer. He's like, you need to eat, dude. Like, eat some freaking food.
It's an elk.
Elk, whatever. And then he throws a steak on a pan. He's like, eat, Tamlin.
Eat. I'm tired of you.
Yeah.
And then he leaves.
I don't know what else to do for you, buddy, but you gotta eat.
Yeah.
So he leaves.
Then we go back to Moore.
This is random and out of nowhere for me.
I
was like, what?
I feel like it's gonna come up again.
Probably. It has
eventually.
to. Yeah.
Because it was so, off the fucking...
I know. Yeah. Off the wall. Out of nowhere.
Where did this come from?
I know. Apparently Moore owns an estate.
Yeah.
Which is a shit ton of land and horses and... Like, what's that about? Does anyone know that she has this estate?
No, because she says, Moore still hadn't told even the Lady of Wintercourt where she'd been. Wait. Yeah. Yeah. She didn't like telling people about this place, had never mentioned it to the others.
So she has a secret estate.
Yeah.
With horses.
Horses?
She's just, like, galloping on one. She told Feyre that she was headed to the Wintercourt because she was going there for solstice celebrations or something. But she went early to go to her estate and is riding a horse. Athelwood
is the name of her estate, apparently.
That has to come up again.
She bought it 300 years ago.
Yeah. She's had it for a hot minute.
Interesting.
It is interesting.
Yeah.
Now I want to know what you're thinking over there.
I just was thinking of something, but I don't think it's actually
a thing to think.
No, exactly.
Okay. But anyway, she's headed towards her estate because she just needs some time alone.
Yeah.
And like on the way in, she just sees like a weird shadow watching her.
Well, yeah, she says like the horse gets weird all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And she like sends her magic out, but there's nothing there, but she sees a shadow watching her.
Yeah.
And just is like, all right, well, I guess I'll leave now.
Yeah, she says it's like...
I wonder if it's Bryaxis.
Oh, maybe. He's just like, huh, hey.
You're pretty.
I'm lost. Do you know where my library is?
I'm trying to find the library. There should be a window on top now.
Yeah, I don't know, but that's kind of weird. And she says something like along the lines of, you know, these forests have a lot of ancient creatures. It could be anything. But she's like, I'm just going to not engage. And he just goes. I'm like, okay. It's trusting, I suppose. But she goes to her court, and as she's going, she's thinking about, like, leaving, doing this errand that Rhys had asked her to do, to, like, go to all the kingdoms and stuff. What?
Nothing. We'll have to talk about it later.
We're gonna forget.
No, it's about the cloud.
Okay.
The darkness.
All right. Anyway, she's thinking about doing the thing for Rhys, and she, like, really wants to go and see every stretch of the world. She's just worried of what that will portray to Care. But, you know, in it, like, internally, she really wants to go.
Yeah.
She just wants to be the world, see the world.
I think it'd be good for her.
Me too. But then Feyre gets gifted the studio.
She does.
She's like standing outside of it with a key, and Rosina comes up and she's like, they gave it to me. I went to their house to buy it, and they just gave it to me and said to donate my money to something. Donate my money to a place. Brush and Chisel. Do you know what that is? And Rosina says it's a charity for artists in need of financial help. And she's like, well, hot damn, I have a freaking studio. And she turns to Rosina and she's like, do you want a business partner by chance? A wildly inexperienced one?
Sorry, I'm stealing your bookmark.
That's fine.
A minute.
So yeah, she's got a studio
She's got a studio. Yeah. Now we go back to Rhys.
Again. And they're back at
Devlin's camp. And the women are training.
They are training. Good for them. And
Way to go, Devlin.
Yeah. They have told They've told Cass.
They told Cassian, and now he's being weird.
He's like, well, they talk about how to deal with it. And Rhys is like, well, I don't know. Accidents happen in the blood right. And he's like, no, we can't dishonor it. And then Az is like, well, accidents happen in the sky all the time. And Cass is like, no. Like, we need to do this in a way that isn't just murdering people randomly. But they're talking about what they're going to do about all of it.
Yeah.
And don't really settle on anything.
No.
But they're happy to see, like, progress in the women training.
Am I crazy in thinking that Cassian was, like, acting weird with them after they told him?
He's definitely a little weird. I'm sure he's just,
I think Rhys says something about, like, I don't think it's actually anything to do with what's going on. I think it's probably about Nesta.
Yeah, he is acting weird after the night before.
Yeah. It's clearly not that important. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm sure he's all ruffled from his interaction with freaking Nesta.
Yeah. And I'm sure he wasn't, like, happy that they didn't tell him sooner.
Yeah, but he's like, well, whatever. I'm sure it's more Nesta than it is that, honestly.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
Yeah, that's a big responsibility he has to deal with, but he's sad.
Yeah.
He just wants Nesta to love him.
Yeah. But then we flash forward a little bit.
Flash forward a month later.
Back to Feyre. And it's been a month.
I know, and her and Rosina have spent the whole time, like, renovating the studio.
Prepping the studio, yeah. And they're now waiting for their first, like, class.
Yeah.
They're waiting for a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
Which is cute.
Rosina, like, reached out to her network to see if there were kids who needed help after the war. And they're all waiting. They're nervous. Yeah. They're like, do you think anyone's going to come?
Like, what if no one shows up?
Nobody comes.
And Rosina's like, I'm sure they're going to show up.
Yeah. But then she starts getting nervous when it takes a couple minutes.
Like,
but I'm also like, you are high lady offering free art classes. Yeah. Of course there's going to be a line out the door.
Of course.
But...
And then people start walking in.
They start coming.
I know.
The
parents and
children. And kids. The parents are excited. The kids look nervous, but they're here and ready. And they all come in and do their lesson. Yeah. And they have a whole plan to, like, switch off artists that come in. Like, they've had a bunch of volunteers. Like, it's going to be a cool thing. And then when it's over, Reese's waiting for her.
He is.
And he comes in to, like, look at the paintings.
Yeah.
And she starts telling him about some of them. And how there was a kid who was, like, throwing or sending a paintball.
A bubble of paint. Yeah, he's
that
like...
landed on Rosina.
Like, Rosina's washing her face because his kid wanted to see what it would look like if he mixed all the colors together and then made a bubble out of it and sent it across the room.
And it...
Right into her face.
Yep. Yeah. But it's like a success. Their first little class is a success. And I think they're going to offer several classes a day. And it's all free and healing. And it's so sweet and kind.
There's a particular painting. Feyre tells Reese we didn't give them any detailed prompts. We only told them to paint a memory. And this is what one specific student came up with. This is on page 227. It was hard to look at. The two figures in it. The red paint. The figures in the sky. Their vicious teeth and reaching claws. And Reese says they don't take their paintings home. And Feyre's like, well, they gotta dry. But I asked her if she wanted me to keep this somewhere special, and she said to throw it out.
Yeah.
And Feyre says, I want to keep it to put in my future office so we don't forget.
Yeah. Scars of the war, but she wants it as a reminder. Yeah. Be like, we can grow. We can heal.
We can persevere, and we got this.
I know. But then we're at the end.
Yeah.
And Feyre's like, listen, I know there's a lot to do. With the queens, the Illyrians, there's so much going on. But, like, just let's walk. And they have a sweet moment and talk to each other. And down the bond, Feyre says to him, you make me so very happy. My life is happy, and I will never stop being grateful that you are in it. Looks up to him, not at all ashamed that he's, like, crying in public.
And she, like, wipes his tears. She's like, before they freeze.
I know.
I'm like, it's cute.
And she says, I will never stop, or he says, I will never stop being grateful to have you in my life either, Feyre darling. And no matter what lies ahead, we will face it together, enjoy every moment of it together. And it wraps up with her saying, I love you. And he's like, what's not to love? And she elbows him. And he says, to the stars who listen, Feyre. And she responds, to the dreams that are answered, Reese. It's so cute. They're building such a good future.
I know.
This book was just like,
it was so
listen,
cute.
We just had war, but now we're going to be cute.
Yeah.
I loved it. It's such a good one.
It's
an easy read. It's more like getting to know the characters outside of, like, big drama.
War and drama, yeah.
It's like, no, we just are a family, you know?
They all love each other so much.
But it's also
disgusting.
I know. It's also kind of setting everyone up for, like, different paths.
Yeah.
Like, Moore's gonna be some sort of traveling emissary.
Reese wants to kick Cassian out.
He wants Cass to get a house.
Yeah.
Reese and Pharaoh are going to try to have a baby. Freaking Elaine, she might, who knows what she's going to do.
And then there's Nesta, who's already off on her own.
Yeah, Amron's got a man. Come on, you need one too.
But I love that, it's setting it up for all of them to go off on their different paths, but also they're building this estate for everyone.
Yeah, to have like a home base.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very sweet. What's your rating, Sarah? We finished a book.
I know, we
gotta
rate it! It's a tough one.
I know. It is for me too. I haven't decided, so I'm waiting for you to decide.
I can't give it anything less than 4 stars, I feel like.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go with my initial gut reaction. I rated it 3 stars on Goodreads. 3.5. You can't do a half star on Goodreads. But,
yeah.
I loved it. I loved the story, obviously, because they're all my favorite people ever. Mm-hmm. But it did feel very just like, I got to get something out there, so here's this.
Yeah. That's fair. I wonder if, like, we had read the books as they were coming out, we'd feel differently about it.
It's
you know
very
what I mean?
possible,
Like, it's like a throwing you a bone while you wait for this big fatty that's coming up next.
Yeah.
But that's fair.
Yeah.
It's very much like a stopgap. It's more of a novella than anything.
Yeah. And I think that's what it's meant to be. Like, when you look at the, the book numbers, this is like 3.5.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or whatever they do novellas as.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you? You gotta decide.
I know I do. I think I give it a 4.
Yeah.
It is very much all that, sure. And I think it's also, one, provides, like, more character building for all of these really important characters. And we're sort of narrowing it down a little bit to be like, yeah, we've had all of these high lords and, like, all these external people, but, like, the real focus and the best parts of it here and now, the inner circle, in just one little short read. It was a fast read, which I liked. Yeah. It was enjoyable generally. It wasn't like hard to get through when you're feeling emotional or like, I mean, there's parts where you like want a happy cry, but that's different.
Yeah.
And of course you're worried about Nesta. But I feel like it was just like a little drop of like, have some loveliness for a second. After we just went through hell and back.
Yeah. It was a very nice reprieve after Akawar.
Mm-hmm. And I liked getting to know the characters more personally. Outside of their, like, roles, you know what I mean? They each have their role in the court, but it was more like seeing them as people.
And as a family.
Yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I liked it a lot.
Yeah. All right, you convinced me. It's 4 stars.
Okay, great. That's totally what I was trying to do the whole time. Yeah, I'd say a 4 for sure.
Yeah.
It's good. It's a good fast read. I liked it.
Yeah.
It's sweet. And y'all, what's your rating? How do you feel about this little 3.5?
Let us know how you like this short little story.
Mm-hmm.
It's very cute.
It is cute.
It's very wholesome.
I know.
When I was describing the series to my mom, I was like, and then when you get to A Court of Frost and Starlight, it's just like a little Christmas novella.
Yeah.
It's like got that vibe, that like Christmas vibe.
Yeah. Like cozy, family united.
Yeah.
It's very sweet.
Yeah.
Yep. So let us know what you think about it.
Yes,
what are your feelings about the good old ACOFAS? Frost and Starlight.
I really hate the way that sounds.
Yeah, it's not a great acronym.
ACOFAS.
Although ACOS is worse, so.
It's true. ACOS.
So, y'all, next week, the episode coming out March 18th, we're taking a quick break from ACOTAR before we dive into Silver Flame.
We're going to be...
Sorry, I'm excited about it. Silver Flame and our break book. What are we reading, Sarah?
Yeah, we're reading The Serpent in the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent.
Yes. We've heard so many good things about this book.
We have heard so many good things.
And where it stemmed from is we had our 1K giveaway on TikTok.
Yeah.
And our winner is going to be a guest, guys.
Yeah.
We get our first guest.
I'm so excited. She's another
excited.
Danielle.
Yeah, another Danielle.
Yeah.
We'll have her plug herself for days when she comes on. But we got her something off her wish list, and it happened to be The Serpent in the Wings of Night. So we're going to have her on as a guest for potentially 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And reading that book.
Yeah. And for the first episode, we're doing chapters 1 through 28.
Mm-hmm. in the second half of the second episode.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
And so, y'all, if you ever want to be a guest on our podcast, maybe you will be.
Yeah. You gotta check out our TikTok.
Yeah, you gotta come interact with us, talk to us, and maybe we can get you on there.
Yeah.
We have plans for the future, my dudes.
It is true.
So, yes, read chapters 1 through 28 of The Serpent and the Wings of Night.
By Carissa Broadbent.
By Chris Broadbent before the 18th.
Yeah.
And tune in for a special guest.
We're very excited.
I'm so freaking stoked. It's going to be a good time.
I know. Wow.
But thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Or watching. Please leave us a rating on any podcast platforms if you're listening.
Yes.
If you want to watch the video and you haven't yet, we're on YouTube at Books and Crannies Podcast. Hello, my friends who are watching.
Hi, YouTube.
Leave us comments. Leave us likes. I don't know. Subscribe.
Yeah.
Do the things. You can follow us on TikTok and Instagram and all the places.
All the places. We are Books and Crannies Podcast. Anywhere and everywhere.
Universally.
Yeah.
Yeah. We love you guys.
Love you guys. Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week.
Happy reading.
Goodbye.
Bye.